motorcycle for John McGuinness. To all of the riders out there in the RST Superbike TT race, have a fast, fun and safe race. This is it, the moment that we've been waiting so long for. The tap on the shoulder is going to be coming shortly from Mark Pendlebury, and we know that we're ready to go racing. The 100 TT starts. Those of you on Bray Hill, get ready. You're about to see the man himself, John McGuinness, MBE, the 50-year-old. And it is his 30th anniversary. Here we go then, out on the Honda, and we are underway. John McGuinness then, give him a roar as he comes past. Next up, Dean Harrison. It is senior 19 TT win for the Dow Racing Kawasaki. Off goes Dino. Next is Michael Rutter, the 50-year-old. This will be his 78th TT start, 7-time winner. He's off. Hutchie is up next on the Milwaukee BMW 64th TT start. Of course, he won 5 in a week back in 2010. Bit of a jittery start there for Hutchie, but he's away on his Milwaukee BMW. Next up is James Here, 61st TT for him, 14 podiums and a win to his name. Next up, number 6, Michael Dunlop on that Hawk Racing Kawasaki, 67th start for Michael Dunlop. What's in store for him today? That usual start where he just climbs over to the right and then pulls it back to the left. He's off now down Bray Hill. Gary Johnson on the Specsavers machine now. 2-time winner, 6 podiums in TTs in the past for him. Next up then, Davey Todd. Is he on the brink of his first podium at the Isle of Man TT? It's just his 12th start, remember. He's off now on the Malenko by Padgett Honda. There is no number 9, of course, remember, so Dave Johnson, who's commentating on this himself, would have been going off at this moment in time. So we wait for the gap, and now it's number 10 on that Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing, BMW, Peter Hickman, the fastest man to ever lap the course. He's off now, down Bray Hill. Next up, number 11, the Max man himself, 63rd start for Connor Cummins on the podium in both of his last Superbike races. Jamie Cowart's had a good week. He's off on his R1 next. It's his 34th TT start. 1 podium on his IGS Racing Yamaha. Next up is Lee Johnston. 38th TT start for him. And, of course, a winner last time we were here in the Super Sports. He's on the Ashcourt BMW. Big Phil Crowe is next, number 14 on the Handtrans Haulage BMW. 26th start for him. He's looking for a PB. 9th is his best so far. There is now a gap because, of course, Sam West was a retirement we just announced. So there'll be a 20-second gap before next up, Dom Herbertson, Dom the Bomb. 9th TT start for him. 9th, was his personal best. The 31-year-old from Hexham on his orange machine. The Hayth sponsorship, he's underway. Next up, 6'2" Irishman, Brian McCormack. He's out there on his BMW. It's his 39th TT start. Derek Shields is up next, the 39-year-old from Dublin. 25th TT start coming up for him. He's looking for a solid top 20. We'll just get a few more away and then we'll check out the first sectors. Sean Anderson is going next. Solid week so far for Sean on his Crendon by Hawk Suzuki. Number 20 is Craig Need, the 31-year-old from Immingham. 18th TT start, but his first, remember, since 2018. He missed 2019 due to injury. And this is the next one we're going to get across. The first TT start for number 22, Glenn Irwin, the 32-year-old from Carrickfergus. He's getting ready for the squeeze, and away Glenn Irwin will go shortly. Is there a problem down there for Glenn? He's away. Glenn Irwin is away. So, here we go. We are racing, Chris Boyd.
We are indeed. We're well underway. Glorious conditions here on the TT course. We can see the riders heading through Gorsley, using all of the road today. Michael Rutter is into Ballacrane. We've already seen John McGuinness and Dean Harrison head on the run now from Ballacrane up towards Glen Helen, where we will get the first indication of a leaderboard. They're pushing here, though. You can see they're using much more of the road today, Jenny.
Yeah, you can see already they're using every inch of the road, and you've got to be fast on the first lap, so they're straight out the guns and just going for it right from the off.
I can tell you the fastest first sector we've ever had, of course, was a 4:06, but this is from a standing start. The second laps you would expect to be a little quicker, but the first out was John McGuinness. What can he do today? Dean Harrison, number 2, of course. The last time we were here, he won. We're just waiting for the first splits to come through Glen Helen for John McGuinness, number 1, and he's through. John McGuinness is through Glen Helen, 4:26.8 for him. Just behind him, though, Dean Harrison on the road, 4:19.2. You can see that beautiful colour scheme on McGuinness's machine. 4:19.2, though. Dean Harrison is closing in on him already.
Absolutely, it's Harrison that leads of only the first 2 bikes. We're obviously waiting for all the rest to come through, and then we'll form our first lead aboard as Michael Rutter. Nice stylish run through Glen Helen for Michael Rutter. He's quite a lot of the road on the exit as he heads off up towards Sarah's cottage.
As you're watching this, Jenny, you want to be out there?
I do. It's just so exciting. It's such a great course to ride, and I'd love to be out there today. The weather conditions are perfect and it looks a great deal of fun for sure.
Ian Hutchinson is through Glen Helen, 4:24 for him, 4:23 for Hillier. Michael Dunlop has just gone through Glen Helen, 4:21.5 for him. That was just a couple of seconds off Dean Harrison's best. Of course, we'll keep an eye on Peter Hickman shortly. We've got our eyes on Phil Crowe at the moment, absolutely flying around Gorsley. So here comes Davey Todd. Fastest first sector for Davey, 4 minutes 18.9 on the Malenko by Paget Honda, Boydie.
Peter Hickman still to come, but at the moment Davey Todd leads the opening RST Superbike TT at Glen Helen on that one. Let's see what Hickman does.
You've been impressed with Davey Todd, you must be.
Absolutely, and his attitude as well. He's just enjoying himself. He's wheeling his elbow down. He's having fun.
Peter Hickman is now the fastest on the course. He goes through Glen Helen, 4:18.2, 7/10 quicker than Davey Todd. Fantastic stuff. So the leaderboard at the moment, Hickman from Davey Todd, 6/10 behind. Dean Harrison is then a further 3/10 behind in 3rd. Connor Cummins 4th. Dunlop in 5th. James Hillier in 6th.
The rest of the top 10, Hutchinson, McGuinness, Rutter and Johnson. So Hickman it is out there at a 4:18.2, which compares with his fastest practice lap of a 4:13, but that was obviously a flying lap against this standing start lap. It puts them on about a 1:32.5 pace from the start.
Yeah, just after they come around Ballacrane and they head towards Glen Helen, the course starts to get a bit more technical from there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit tighter and, like you say, very technical. It feels more enclosed from that point onwards.
So they'll be heading up to Bigarrow at some point soon. Phil Crowe's just gone through. I'll quickly check to see how Phil was getting on. It was 4:29.8 for him. Still, of course, riders leaving here from the grandstand, looking to set themselves off. I can see the orange bib of Milo Ward. He's getting himself excited. We will keep track of him at some point soon. Next for John McGuinness, though, for those of you around the course, the next sector that we'll get, where we'll be able to tell you who's still leading, will be Ballaugh Bridge. What do you make of that sector?
Yeah, it's obviously important sector. First lap as well. You got to get it right and get a good sector there.
Bit tricky as well, just as you come over the jump over Ballaugh.
Yeah, it's so hard to go slower for that jump. You've been going so fast, and to actually have the discipline to slow yourself up for it, you don't want to over jump the jump and ruin your line into the next corner. Dean
Harrison is past John McGuinness on the road and goes through Ballaugh. 3:06.4 for Dean Harrison through Ballaugh. Then John McGuinness just behind him on the road will now try and get the hooks in.
We're waiting then for Hickman and Todd. It was Hickman, Todd, Harrison, Cummins, Dunlop at Glen Helen. Harrison now through Ballaugh, so we have to wait for those 2 men who are ahead of him, Glen Helen, to form the leaderboard. Davey Todd started at bike 8 and Peter Hickman at bike 10. Hickman likes to try and come through the traffic as we see Connor Cummins making his way through Kirkmichael.
Yeah, a couple of other riders have just come through. Ian Hutchinson slots into 2nd place through Ballaugh. We're watching a replay here of Peter Hickman. What are we seeing here?
Oh, getting a bit of a slide on the exit there, and you can see the suspension pumping away. He's gone right to the edge of the curve.
Not holding back, is he? Michael Dunlop is through Ballaugh now. A total time of 7:29. Davey Todd has just gone through. 3:06. Davey Todd leads through Ballaugh. A total time thus far of 7 minutes 25.062. We now wait for Peter Hickman. Of course, there was a bit of a gap between Davey Todd and Peter Hickman where Dave O'Johnson should have been starting. And through we go, Ballaugh, and it is Peter Hickman. He leads now 7:21.9. That's a good 4 and a bit seconds faster than Davey Todd in total.
Yeah, that's the fastest sector time we have seen of TT 2022 on the run from Glen Helen to Ballaugh. Hickman leads by 3.1 seconds from Davey Todd. Then Dean Harrison, 7/10 of a second down on Todd. Connor Cummins slots into fourth, 8/10 of a second down on Harrison, with Michael Dunlop 2.5 seconds back on Cummins in fourth. Then James Hillier, 3.7 seconds down on Dunlop in sixth.
Jenny, when we come into this TT week, we believed that on paper it was going to be between the likes of Hickman, Harrison and Davey Todd. Was that similar to how you were thinking? Yeah,
if you look at practice week, they've been the three kind of guys that have been consistently fast, so I think it's definitely going to be between them.
We've got eyes on Craig Neve at the moment. I don't know if he's got a bit of a problem. He had a little look down at his dash, but no, he's absolutely fine at the moment. Michael Dunlop fastest through the Selby speed trap at the moment, 190.5. But of course, we've still got a few more to come through there, including Davey Todd and Peter Hickman.
Yeah, we got down to sixth at Ballaugh, so just running down 7th to 10th. Lee Johnston, Ian Hutchinson, Dominic Herbertson slots into 9th. He just arrives at Ballaugh. And then John McGuinness holding on to a top 10 spot just ahead of Jamie Coward.
Top speed trap then has just changed as Hickman flies through. Big old wheelie here for Craig Neve as well. Oof, getting in a bit out of shape.
Foot on the floor there, getting foot right off the tag, and luckily landed back in the seat there, didn't he?
Yeah, he's absolutely fine, Craig Neve. So that would have been the moment that we saw him looking down. He's probably taking quite a deep breath there. Next up for Dean Harrison, who's first on the roads, remember, will be that Ramsey section. Yesterday, of course, we had a bit of rain, but it's been lovely weather since then. Should have dried out considerably.
Yeah, you can see that there is a lot of tree-lined route on the run up from Ballaugh through to Ramsey, but we are looking, I think, at bone-dry conditions. They've been out and had that warm-up lap, so they know exactly what's coming.
Dean Harrison then is about to come around. Ramsey hairpin, he's through. Ramsey, John McGuinness likewise, 3 minutes 15.9 at Ramsey for Dean Harrison. That's a total time of 10 minutes 41.713. He leads. He's about 18 seconds clear of John McGuinness, who was the second rider to come through Ramsey. We're just waiting now for a bundle of others to come through. They were all quite close together on the road. The likes of Hutchie, Rutter, Hillier. Hutchie's there, just ahead of Michael Rutter on the road. We've got our eyes on the Milwaukee BMW now, number 4. Tricky section to get right here as well, just as they go into the hairpin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Stella Maris corner is lovely, but then it's such a lovely corner, but then you've got to get yourself slowed down for Ramsey hairpin. And they've got the white in their red flag out there for a little bit of a damp surface, so they're taking it steady, I'm sure.
Does it come as a bit of a shock, Ramsey, when you've been going flat out for so long?
Yeah, totally. You know when you're approaching it, though, you know you're reminding yourself on the approach to make sure you take it steady.
Dean Harrison then is fastest from Grandstand to Ramsey. Davey Todd has just gone through. We can see him right now on his Malenko by Paget's Honda. Hey, what is it? 4 thousandths of a second difference.
Hickman leads. Hickman's into Ramsey hairpin. He leads by 6.1 seconds of Ramsey hairpin on the opening lap. Hickman leads Harrison, then Davey Todd in third, just 5/1000th of a second down on Harrison.
Yeah, so it's Hickman, Harrison, Davey Todd third, Michael Dunlop in fourth, then it's James Hillier in fifth, although that changes because the Manxman, Connor Cummins, again, just slots up there into fourth place. He's only 7/10 of a second behind his teammate Davey Todd at this stage. So Connor Cummins and Davey Todd third and fourth, but Peter Hickman leads by 6 seconds. A couple of days ago, Peter Hickman ran out of fuel on that second lap. What do you think will have gone on there to try and correct that down in the Gas Monkey garage?
So they'd have just leaned the fuel off a slightly bit. Hickman was saying that they would, when he would ask for full 100% throttle, that the bike would not give him 100% throttle for a little bit longer, a little bit more of delay, and that would save a bit of fuel. So it's literally engine mapping strategy to save that fuel. Yeah,
so it's down to the team to kind of get that. So Peter doesn't change anything in his riding. No. Absolutely. Okay, well, that's good job for Peter Hickman then. The Bungalow will be next, the leading riders on the road. Of course, onto the mountain already, Dean Harrison, the senior TT winner in 2019 on that Dow Racing Kawasaki, will be coming around the Bungalow shortly. We're just watching Phil Crowe. He's just made his way around the Ramsey hairpin. He's in 11th place at the moment, 2.7 seconds down on Jamie Coward in 10th. John McGuinness right now, just by the way, for those of you wondering, currently in 9th place, 3 seconds off Ian Hutchinson.
Just give you that leaderboard rundown at Ramsey then. Hickman leads by 6.1 seconds from Harrison. Davey Todd in third, 5/1000 of a second down on Harrison. Then Connor Cummins in fourth, just 7/10 of a second down on Davey Todd. Michael Dunlop slots into fifth. James Hillier 6th. Lee Johnston 7th, then Ian Hutchinson, John McGuinness, Jamie Coward, and Philip Crowe just outside the top 10.
Dom Herbertson and Brian McCormack are just going round Ramsey, but through the bungalow then for the first time is Dean Harrison. 3-minute 15.1 at the bungalow. That's from Ramsey to the bungalow. Total time at the moment for Dino, 13 minutes 56.911. John McGuinness has just gone through the bungalow as well, but the other riders we're going to keep an eye out for are riders number 8, Davey Todd, and number 10, Peter Hickman, 11, Connor Cummins as well.
Absolutely, it's a 1:32.7 or so pace from the standing start for this race. So Peter Hickman is absolutely flying out there. We see Glenn Irwin as well. He's making his way into Ramsey, so we'll get an indication of where he slots on to the leaderboard.
From the Ramsey now, getting onto the bungalow, a bit tricky, a bit short circuit underneath the trees, and then it all just opens up for you.
Yeah, once you've got through the waterworks and then onto the gooseneck, the track just changes. It's a completely different section. It just opens up. It's fast, it's flowy, it's less bumpy. It's where the guys can just dig in. I think Davey Todd was saying he loved it. That particular section he really enjoyed. So, yeah, completely different section to the rest of the course.
Peter Hickman then comes through the bungalow right now. Dean Harrison was leading, but he's not anymore. Peter Hickman comes through then. 3-minute 13.2. Purple sectors all the way through up to this point. 13 minutes 48.8 at this precise moment, Boydie.
Hickman extending his lead at every sector point that we get in. It's now 8.09 seconds he leads Harrison by. Hickman, in fact, Connor Cummins has slotted into second place. Connor has moved up from 4th to 2nd at the bungalow. Fantastic climb of the mountain for Connor Cummins. Hickman leans Connor by 7.5 seconds. Then Harrison is half a second down on Cummins. Davey Todd just a 1/10 of a second down on Harrison. It's really close. Michael Dunlop 6 seconds down on Todd in 5th. Then James Hillier, Ian Hutchinson, John McGuinness, Michael Rutter and Gary Johnson of those through the bungalow so far.
Fantastic stuff then from Connor Cummins. He's managed to take a lump out of Dean Harrison and Davey Todd. He's been building and building and building. He didn't even get a Superbike lap in on day one as well when we were here last Sunday. He was a bit concerned, Jenny.
Yeah, they had a few issues with that bike when they started, but they got that all sorted and did get some laps in. And as soon as he jumped on it, he was fast. He's obviously enjoying the bike, and he's been a bit of a kind of dark horse. Everyone's known that he's going to be having a good go here. He's kind of in good form. He's been doing British Championship, and that's showing.
It certainly is showing at the moment. Peter Hickman then absolutely flying at this particular moment. Boydie.
Harrison through Cronknamona, but Hickman's pace to the bungalow is now a 1:33 pace from a standing start. But we'll have them with us at the end of this first lap inside of a minute.
Yeah, through Cronknamona then, of course, from here now. It's just about under a minute from there to the grandstand. So anyone in the grandstand at the moment, get yourselves ready. Our first race day, of course, since 2019. And you're about to hear the singing noise of a Dow Racing Kawasaki heading down Glen Crutchery for the first time. And they are on Glen Crutchery Road right now. We're going to get our first lap in. Here's Dean Harrison coming across the line now. And Dean registers a 1:31.969. Total lap time there, 17 minutes and 9.2. Next up then should be John McGuinness, number 1. Here he is, over the line now for John McGuinness, 128.425. We've obviously got a couple of riders here we want to keep a keen eye on as they come over the line. The 2 Malenko by Paget's Hondas are in podium contention. Davey Todd, number 8. Connor Cummins, number 11. We've got Peter Hickman out there as well. Mike Rutter, Hutchie, Hillier, they'll be here soon as well.
Harrison back past Cummins at Cronknamona. Harrison moves back into second by just half a second. 9.1 seconds between Hickman and Harrison. Half a second back to Connor Cummins.
Michael Dunlop goes into second at the grandstand. It's Dean Harrison that leads, 1:31.9. Michael Dunlop's time there was just about 8 seconds slower. Coming over the line now is Davey Todd. Where's Davey going to go? At the grandstand, Davey Todd goes into second, 131.727. And here comes Peter Hickman now. Hickman across the line, and he leads 133.178 miles per hour for Hickey. That last lap then, 16 minutes 59.8. And as he had done this week, the only rider thus far to have dipped under the 17 minutes.
Yeah, that's outstanding. From a standing start to go that fast, it's just incredible.
Insane stuff then from Peter Hickman. A couple of others are coming across the line. Connor Cummins crosses the line in 3rd overall. So that is the end of your first lap in the RST Superbikes. Of course, a few more coming over, but as it stands, it's Peter Hickman that leads at the grandstand as he makes his way now into the first sector from Dean Harrison and Connor Cummins. In 4th place is Davey Todd with Michael Dunlop in 5th. James Hillier then follows in 6th. Then it's Hutchie and John McGuinness.
Just give you a rundown on that leaderboard then. Hickman's opening lap, 16 minutes 59.896, 133.178. Dean Harrison, 9.3 slower, 131.969. Connor Cummins, 0.7 of a second slower than that again on a 17-minute 10.0. Davey Todd, 131.7. Michael Dunlop, a 130.9, and Lee Johnson, a 130.1. So 6 riders above 130 so far on the opening lap of this RST Superbike TT.
Jenny, I have to say, as we look at the leaderboard for the fastest laps there, Lee Johnston's name pings out immediately. That's a cracking lap.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done a few little changes to his bike, and he went out this morning. And he's done 600 this morning, but last night in practice, he was happy with the bike. The changes they had made suited him. He'd been struggling up until that point, but last night he did his fastest lap. He was happy, he was content. He underestimates himself on the big bike. He always says he's a 600 man, but he's still fast on 1,000.
Certainly is. Glenn Irwin has gone through Cronknamona and will be passing us shortly. Just see McCormack going past the line here right now, as well as the other riders will be shortly heading into Glen Helen. Sean Anderson has just gone over the line, number 19 on his Crendon by Hawk at Suzuki. So keep your eyes pinned for Glenn Irwin, of course. We're looking to see if he can become the fastest newcomer since Peter Hickman back in 2014. The leaders, of course, will track once they're through Glen Helen. It's Hickman at the moment that leads by 9.3. That was at the grandstand. Here comes Glenn Irwin then over the line. Where is Glenn Irwin moving into? Let's have a look and see. Glenn Irwin 11th over the line. I'm not sure what that lap was. Have you got a register of that lap there, Boydie, for Glenn Irwin? 11th from the start to the grandstand. He was just a couple of seconds behind his teammate, John McGuinness. I can't quite get it up here at the moment. 128.12 from a standing start for a newcomer.
That's amazing. That's he's definitely going to smash the record, isn't it? That's coming. He's absolutely flying.
It certainly seems that way. First riders just coming through Glen Helen now.
Dean Harrison is through Glen Helen first on the road now, and he's at a 1:33 pace himself now. Glen Helen to Glen Helen, 133 miles an hour. Harrison comes through. He's first on the road. He sits second in the race behind Hickman. Hickman obviously running a minute and a half or so back from him at bike number 10 as John McGuinness makes his way around Glen Helen as well. He's enjoying that ride, isn't he? You can tell now he'll be into that ride now. All the emotion will have gone, and he'll just be enjoying being out on the TT course.
How possible is it to enjoy it? Because it's obviously an intense ride where you've got to concentrate as well, Jenny.
Yeah, you definitely enjoy it. You can't help it. You're just grinning in your helmet for sure. And John will be. He's got the experience and the knowledge. It's not like he's concentrating, but he'll be absolutely loving it.
Okay, well, a few more riders have just gone through Glen Helen right now. Dean Harrison is 13.5 seconds up on Dunlop. Hillier, 9 seconds down in third. He's just been displaced, though, by Davey Todd.
They're all running on the road together on the run up to Sarah's Cottage. You've got Hillier, Dunlop, Hutchinson and Michael Rutter. 4 of them riding together. If you've got your cameras out there, get the shots, because those 4 riding together is going to make some fantastic photos.
Yeah, and there's some names there as well, more to the point. There's some serious... I can't even think of how many TT wins there are amongst that lot, but there will be some cracking photos as well. So
we still wait then for Connor Cummins. We wait just to get a complete leaderboard at Glen Helen. Connor makes it there. Now we'll just wait for his time. He retains third place. Hickman leads at Glen Helen on lap 2 by nearly 12 seconds, 11.9 seconds. Hickman leads Harrison by. Then it's 2.3 seconds from Harrison back to Connor Cummins, and only quarter of a second back from Connor to his own teammate Davey Todd, who sits in 4. Michael Dunlop then a further 10.9 seconds back in 5th. James Hillier 6th. Ian Hutchinson 7th, John McGuinness in 8th.
Yeah, just a bit behind there. Michael Rutter and Gary Johnson at the moment, of course, but some more riders yet to come through Glen Helen. That's a proper battle going on between Cummins and Todd. Just a quarter of a second splitting them after, a lap and a bit through Glen Helen.
Yeah, we're obviously on the same machinery, same tyres, and they're same everything really. So, and they're both on the top of the game, so they're just having that great battle there.
Peter Hickman is inside Superbike lap record pace out to Glen Helen. Is Glen Helen to Glen Helen time is 134.45, 16 minutes 50.2. It is only a tenth of a second inside the Superbike lap record, not the outright lap record, the Superbike lap record, but he is on lap record schedule.
Peter, John McGuinness has just gone through Kirk Michael. You can see a couple of riders here just heading around Douglas Road corner, including Michael Dunlop. There are those 4 riders. If you're around the Kirk Michael area, you're going to see them all coming through right now. They're being led by Michael Dunlop, number 6, with Ian Hutchinson just behind. Dean Harrison is into Balaf. So Dean Harrison is the first rider to come into Balaf. Total time of 24:25.964. There you can see Peter Hickman. It looks like he's going to become part of that group shortly, Jenny.
Yeah, definitely. He's on the back of that group now, and he looks so fast.
We talk about traffic, but that's fast traffic that he's got to get past as well.
Yeah, extremely fast traffic. I think Rutter said he wanted to start a bit further back, didn't he? Because he knew that the boys would be coming through, and Hickman's next on the road to catch him.
There we can just see Connor Cummins just making his way through Kirk Michael as well. John McGuinness is through Balaf now. He's 40 seconds down on Dean Harrison, but then, of course, we're going to see pretty much in quick succession about 5 or 6 riders all in a bundle coming through Balaf. Can anyone cut that gap down from Peter Hickman as we look here at Gary Johnson on his Specsavers machine? John McGuinness is Michael Dunlop, 16.2 seconds down on Dean Harrison through Balaf.
As we wait for 1 or 2 other riders just to appear at Balaf, so we get a complete leaderboard. Glenn Irwin's just through Ballacrane, did the Dr. Dangle on the way into Ballacrane, just scrubbing off that speed, but he's out there enjoying that ride. At Balaf, we have Hickman from Harrison by 13.8 seconds, then 3.7 seconds back to Davey Todd, but we're waiting on Connor Cummins to arrive to slot in.
Yeah, so Peter Hickman leads then from Dean Harrison. Davey Todd then 3 seconds behind Harrison. We're just now waiting on Connor Cummins to come through to get that leaderboard. He's just gone into 3rd. The gap between Cummins and Todd has come down as they get to Balaf. Just a 10th in it now for Davey Todd behind Connor Cummins.
Peter Hickman is on outright lap record pace now. The outright lap record to Balaf Bridge, 7 minutes 13.2. He's there in 7:12.2. He's a full second inside outright lap record pace.
Yeah, he will, of course, have to come in and slow for the pits at the end of this lap. Remember, it's time to come in for pit stops. At what point are you actually starting to think about the pit stops, Jenny?
Definitely, when you're on the mountain, you're kind of reminding yourself that you need to come in for your pit stop, definitely.
Yeah, well, they'll be in, and of course, once that happens, we'll be crossing down to Chris Kinley. At the moment as well, it's just worth pointing out, Boydie, Peter Hickman's coming onto the back of that group of 4 or 5 riders, and that is not going to be easy to pass. That's not slow traffic.
No, they're all going at a pace, and they're all involved in their own race and their own battles as well. Michael Dunlop has got past all of those other 3 and is moving forwards, but the other 3 are all having a little battle between themselves, and as you say, Peter Hickman has to work his way past them.
Before they get through the next sector then at the bungalow, at Ramsey, I'll just talk you through this one then. Hickman from Harrison, 13.8 seconds in it. Connor Cummins is 3rd, 3 seconds behind Harrison, and Todd just a 10th behind. Dunlop is 5th, Lee Johnston 6th, Hillier 7th, Coward is in 8th, Ian Hutchinson, number 4, is in 9th. John McGuinness is currently in 10th place. Phil Crowe has just gone over Balaf Bridge. He's in 12th at the moment, 1 place better off than Gary Johnson. Try and take a breath. We're looking here at Glen Irwin. Glen Irwin at the moment, number 22. He's had such a strong TT as Rob Hodson there is just making a move. Glen Helen. I'm not sure who that was on. Did we see who that was? He was passing as here comes round Ramsey Hairpin, then Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison on his Kawasaki. He's first through. We're just wait now for the big bundle of riders to come along. John McGuinness was second on the roads, effectively. Dean Harrison is going to be the first rider to head into the pit lane. And I can tell you that of all the little sort of fuel stations that we've got out here, Dean Harrison is at number 20. So Dave, we got some bad news for Davey Todd fans. Davey Todd, who was in pursuit of his first podium, has retired at Ballycrane. Oh, poor Davey on the Malenko by Paget's Honda. It was looking like this is going to be the week where he gets a podium. He will get another shot, but that's devastating.
But the pace was there. He was in that battle for the podium. He was only sitting sort of tenths and quarter of a second off Conor Cummins, so he knows that pace is there.
That feeling, Jenny, I'm sure you've had it before, where you have to retire. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's just devastating when you have to retire. You're in the groove and you're enjoying it, and then something goes wrong with the bike and you have to pull over. And yeah, I feel sorry for Davey.
We're just getting reports that Derek Shields has also retired at Ballycrane as well. So that's bad news then for him, the Irishman. Best wishes to him. You're going to get another chance, guys. That's the good news. Peter Hickman then, through the Ramsey hairpin, is 12.8 seconds up on Dean Harrison, but we've not got a full leaderboard yet until Conor Cummins comes through. Conor Cummins, of course, here he is right now. He slots into third place. So this is how it stands from the grandstand to Ramsey at the moment. Peter Hickman leads this RST Superbike TT race by 12.8 seconds. Conor Cummins is third, a further 4.7 behind.
Yeah, Hickman has now just slipped off that outright lap record pace, so we'll just see he's still on a 1:34 type pace for the lap.
Correction on Davey Todd, he is retired at the Sulby Straight, but hopefully everything's okay. Maybe some sort of bike problem. What are you seeing so far, Jenny? Anyone that stands out for you that you're surprised by?
At the moment, just Peter. He's catching that group now, and he's just got past Rutter. He's coming up on the other gaggle of riders, and it's going to be quite hard to pass them. There might be a bit of passing in the pit stops, maybe.
And when it comes to overtaking as well, it's not like short circuit stuff. You have to pick your moment. You have to kind of almost guess where the other riders are going.
Yeah, you have to line yourself up for a pass. Obviously, you know what corner's coming next, so you can kind of preempt where you want to be on the track to make that pass.
So Peter Hickman it is that leads. Lee Johnston's just coming around the Ramsey hairpin at this moment as well. I'll see whether or not he slots into the top 10. Hickman 12.8 seconds clear of Harrison. Cummins in third, Dunlop in fourth. Lee Johnston's doing a great job, Boydie. Fifth place on the Ashcourt BMW.
Yeah, not normally a man you associate with the Superbikes, but that's really impressive. He's up to fifth now, obviously, with Davey Todd gone out. It's Hickman leads Harrison by 12.8. Then Conor Cummins 4.7 down on Harrison. Then it's 13.1 seconds back to Michael Dunlop in fourth, another 13.2 seconds back to Johnston in fifth, and 3.9 seconds back to Hillier in sixth, and seventh to 10th, Jamie Coward, Ian Hutchinson, John McGuinness, and Michael Rutter. Dean
Harrison is through the bungalow section already, and now it's this time where he's going to start be thinking about getting in for that pit stop. We just saw a moment ago, just approaching, getting onto the mountain mile a moment ago. Getting onto the mountain itself was Conor Cummins. He's just behind Gary Johnson on the road. Talk to us about this section around the bungalow, and from here on in, some of the corners are just fantastic to watch. What is it like to ride?
Oh, they're fantastic. If anyone's done a lap on their bike over the mountain, it's just glorious. Windy corner, it's just because you can see over the countryside as you're going through it. It's just magnificent. You have to stop looking at the scenery sometimes and focus on the road.
Named Windy Corner because it is genuinely windy.
Yeah, it is genuinely windy. You do catch a good gust of wind there, so you do have to prepare for that. It's one of the corners that that you have to sometimes put a little bit extra effort in as you go in, just to make sure you can maintain that corner speed and that corner, get the apex of the corner.
And for some people that might not know, who are listening here, maybe around the world, it's not like your lines are not short circuit racing either. It's 99% around here is late apexes.
Yeah, there's many late apexes. This place is really important to be slow in and fast out. So it's making sure you get the late apex so that you can carry the speed out of the corner, especially the run down from the mountain, because you're carrying more momentum and more speed. You can gain so much time if you get your apexes perfect.
Okay, thanks very much, Jenny. Through the bungalow then, Peter Hickman it is that leads, 14.005 clear of Dean Harrison at the moment. We're waiting again for Conor Cummins just to flash through, because of course he's been third thus far. No Davey Todd, a reminder, he retired at Sulby. Michael Dunlop at the moment is third, but not any longer, because Conor Cummins has just gone in there. So Boydie, the latest update then from the grandstand to the bungalow
is that Peter Hickman leads now by 14 seconds, 14.005 seconds from Dean Harrison. Conor Cummins is then 4.7 seconds down on Harrison in third. Michael Dunlop sits fourth on the Suzuki, 14 seconds back on Cummins. Then James Hillier is in fifth, although we have to wait for Lee Johnson to arrive, who sits fifth on the road. He's on his way on the climb of the mountain. In terms of the Superbike lap record, conditions maybe not quite as perfect as we think. Peter Hickman now 4 seconds outside of Superbike lap record pace to the bungalow.
Okay, well, of course, we're now getting closer and closer to pit stop territory. Dean Harrison is through Cronk Namona. So in just under a minute, He's going to be heading into pit lane here, and it is going to be all action for the Dow Racing Kawasaki team, as I said, and these fuel stopped out here, number 20 for Dean Harrison. If you want to keep an eye on Peter Hickman, he's at number 2. Michael Dunlop's at number 59. They're all at various different points here as they come in for their pit stop. It is so important to get this right. Every second one in pit lane is one less that you have to find out on the road, Jenny. But at the same time, you want to relax because you want to make sure everything is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, the good thing with the pit stops is there's no pressure behind the fuel. So you've got as long as it takes to get that fuel in, which is really good for the mechanics. Changing the rear wheel, they can generally get that rear wheel in before the fuel's gone in. So there's plenty of time to chill, take on some fluids, and then get going again.
Here we go then. Dean Harrison is coming into pit lane now. Let's go down to you, Kinnis.
Yeah, Johnny Bagnall's going to be on the fuel for Dean Harrison. He's standing waiting there now past the old stop box. The number 2 Dow Kawasaki pops into position, and the first pit stop of TT22 goes in. The rear stand is now under. You can hear the ratchet gun going in the background there. The spindle will be pulled out. The chain comes off. There we go. And then the wheel get changed, and there'll be a brand new Dunlop going on the back of that machine. Dean Harrison just taking all relaxed and just chilling out there, as he does, just nice and chilled. The rear wheel is changed already. The front screen is just being cleared. He's getting information from Johnny Bagnall, being told exactly where he is on the race. Meanwhile, the rest of the race continues behind us, the little riders, but don't forget that time for Peter Hickman. He might be lost to 4 seconds on the lap. He, of course, will have all that traffic to get to. You hear the klaxon go one more, so the next bike comes into our view. Dean Harrison still in here. It's number 1 next. John McGuinness in for his first pit stop. John is in. Is Dean Harrison just about to go? Quite a long pit stop now for Dean Harrison, to be fair. But the Dow Kawasaki goes. So number 1, John McGuinness is here. The gold colours on the front of that machine looks really smart. The Honda Fireblade. And here's Michael Dunlop. About 4th position for Michael at the moment. Then we've got number 10. There's your race leader, Peter Hickman. Steve Day, what was the lap?
The lap for Peter Hickman was 133.461.
So 133 and a bit for the first lap, 133.6. Rutter's in, Hutchie's in, McGuinness is in, but we're waiting obviously for Connor Cummins, the number 11 machine. He's further down, so right alongside me now is Michael Rutter on the gold, red and black Batham's BMW. Number 10 at the top of the pitch, John McGuinness is get away you go. And there goes John out on lap number 3 on the Honda Fireblade. So John away in his 100th TT start. So in here at the moment, we've got James Hillier, number 5. Gaz Johnson in there too, number 4 and number 10. Hickman will be wanting to get out and not have to pass these guys again. He will not want to have to pass these guys again. We'll look at the speed trap times, and Hickey's going to get away before Hutchie, before Rutter, probably before Hillier. So Hickman's going to have a clear track again. So keep an eye on this one. You hit the pit lane limiters. Hutchie has a bit of a stretch. And of course, we must remember why these first pit stops are taking place. Our good friend Tim O'Hanlon, part of the Radio TT team for many, many years, who passed away last year. And Tim, I normally be relying on you, but I'm relying on you, Chris Boyd, to give us the details. But there's number 5, Hillier. We've got a problem with Michael Rutter. That's a long pit stop for number 3. Here's Lee Johnson. Don't seem to have, where is he? Don't seem to have Connor at the moment, unless he's got past 13 and 12. They're in now at the moment. Back to you, Chris and Steve, to tidy this up. We believe Connor's not through Crontenmona, I'm afraid, so Connor hasn't flashed up on the times there, so that is a massive double blow for the Malenko by Paget's team, so that'll move Michael Dunlop up, subject to getting confirmed, into 4th position as number 7. Gaz Johnson comes in for his pit stop. He's halfway down on the left-hand side, but Lee Johnson, that'll move him up from my markings to about, where would Lee be about in? About 4th and 5th place for Lee Johnson. So on the big bike, he wasn't a big fan of that. But Jamie Coward going well on the number 12 machine. Also, you hear the klaxon go once more. The pit stops continue here in pit lane as Lee just gets the BMW, the Ashcourt BMW, to fire up as Big Phil Crowe comes in. But Jamie Coward's going to have to watch his left. But he does. The pit crew gets out of the way. So Jamie Coward, nice and relaxed by the Stead Plan team as Big Phil Crowe is in now. So 12 and 14 both in. And I think that could be Gary Johnson off the machine, and a possible retirement for Gary Johnson on the number 7 Specsavers machine. That is a shame for him. So go back to you boys up there to tidy up that leaderboard and have a little look at those pit stop times.
Absolutely. Peter Hickman leads the race and was the fastest in the pit stops. A 58.0 second pit stop for Hickman. He came in with a 16.8 second lead over Harrison. He's taken another 2/10 of a second out of him in the pit. So the lead now will be over 17 seconds for Peter Hickman as he leaves here at the TT Grandstand from Dean Harrison. With the retirement of Connor Cummins, it'll be Michael Dunlop who moves up. In fact, Michael Dunlop's pit stop time was quicker, so Michael will have a second or so back, but he'll still be 15 seconds down on Dean Harrison in third. Lee Johnson now moves up to fourth, and he will stay there after the pit stops. His was a 58 second. They're all in around that region. Dunlop did a 56.2 second pit stop. Hickman did a 58.0. Lee Johnson did a 58.0. Dean Harrison did a 58.2. In fifth place, James Hillier, he had a slower pit stop. 1 minute and 7 he was in the pit spot, so he's dropped a few seconds there, and that will probably cost him to... Jamie Coward will move up to 5th overall. John McGuinness will probably move up to 6th. Hillier dropping down to 7th. Ian Hutchinson sits in 8th. Then Glenn Irwin in 9th. And Michael Rutter 10th.
Yeah, just for those of you in the grandstand at the moment, Big Phil Crowe is getting some more fuel. Glenn Irwin is in. He got to the grandstand in 9th place, the number 22. An update on Connor Cummins. He retired on the run down from the Craig. What a nightmare day it has been for Padgett's. Down to you, Kinnets.
Phil Crowe's having a bit of a problem with his rear spindle with the actual tension in that puts the stress on the chain to get the chain level. And Glenn Irwin's going to have a tight squeeze to get out of there, but he gets out. The number 12 bike looks like somebody's a retirement. Did you say Brian McCormick? I'm not sure if Brian is a retirement or not, but looks like Phil Crowe. Yeah, big Brian. That's a shame for Brian as well. Oh, Lee Johnson is out as well. Lee Johnson is retired at Quarterbridge. So Lee Johnson at retirement. We talked about this before the start of the race. We were saying there was going to be retirements, a big name retirements, and boy, has there been a few. But Phil Crowe absolutely gutted, I'm sure. He was holding on to a pretty good position. Around about 11th to 12th position was Phil coming into the pits. Number 20, Craig Nevis here. But I'm sure our leaders will be already in and through Glen Helen on lap 3.
Yeah, they are. Dean Harrison is already first to go through there. So already we've had a couple of retirements to riders that were inside the top 5. Davey Todd, of course, retired. Connor Cummins as well. Oh, poor old Lee Johnston. He just inherited 4th place, Jenny, and unfortunately out at Quarterbridge.
Yeah, he'll be gutted, but he'll take the positives from this. He's been going really well, but he's had a tough practice week, and he's just shown then that he can be up with the front runners for this race, so he'll take the positive.
Yeah,
sure.
and the positives are for Lee as well is that his focus is actually on the smaller classes, so that would be good for him. Boydie.
A couple of other retirements as well. Derek Shields is out at Ballacrane, retired, and Xavier Denis retired at Selborne Drive, so he didn't get very far into the race. I think that was on the opening lap.
Phil Crowe is going to be talking to Chris. It looks like we might have a retirement here.
Yeah, Phil's a retirement. Phil, what happened?
Hit Bagara quite hard on the first lap, and as soon as I went through, my chain started slipping. And we've had this problem before in practice week, and I knew it was the chain tensioner. Kind of kept going for another lap, but the chain's just slipping. It's pulling the sprockets to bits, so that's it.
Have a rest.
Job done.
Thanks, Phil. Cheers. I'm sure the bad luck on that, and hopefully they get that sorted for the next one. Back to you, boys and girls up there.
Yeah, thanks very much. At the moment then, through Glen Helen, Peter Hickman is 18.1 seconds up on Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop is third, 17.6 seconds then behind Dean Harrison. Gary Johnson has just retired down in pit lane. Hutchie is currently in 4th at the moment on the run to Glen Helen. James Hillier is 5th. He's 4 seconds behind Ian Hutchinson. John McGuinness is 6th, just a second behind James Hillier. And if we have many more retirements, we might well see that streak on the prom.
Well, indeed, this is turning into an absolute race of attrition. We are just over 2 laps in. We are not even at half distance yet, and we've already lost Davey Todd, Connor Cummins, Lee Johnson, Gary Johnson, amongst others. Real race of attrition on this opening TT for 3 years. The first race we've had for 3 years, the first wear and tear on these bikes of having to try and do a TT race on the mountain course. Hickman it is at Glen Helen, as you said, 18.1 seconds after the pit stop, and out to Glen Helen, he leads Harrison by. Michael Dunlop 17.6 seconds back in third, but Dunlop is now on the podium places on that Suzuki. Ian Hutchinson moves up to 4th. As we said, James Hillier had a slightly slow pit stop that has knocked him back to 5th place. John McGuinness in 6th, Jamie Coward 7th, and Michael Rutter in 8th.
Michael Dunlop is just heading through Kirk Michael. That was a good point. Dean Harrison, by the way, is already through Balaf. Hickman is chasing Dunlop on the road. Good point Boydie just made there, Jenny, about the fact that we have been away for 3 years. Bikes have obviously moved on from then. So these current motorcycles have not done this yet.
No, the Fireblade, this is the first proper road racing they've done this year. So they've got to get through all the teething problems. And obviously the Padgett's have suffered a few there, and they'll but they'll sort that out for the next races.
And just to put it into perspective, they've done the Northwest 200 and you think they've done a big international road race meeting. One lap of the Northwest 200 gets you to Laurel Bank here on the TT course. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Like we saw with Peter, he ran out of fuel. Potentially Connor maybe run out of fuel for that to break down where he did. Yeah, these bikes are thirsty machines, and you can change so much with the engine mapping, with the fuel in, that they'll be able to do that for the next time.
Michael Rutter is just going through. Kurt Michael. John McGuinness has just gone through Balaf. So has Michael Dunlop. So through Balaf, Peter Hickman has just gone through. It's Hickman 18.9 seconds clear of Dean Harrison, with Michael Dunlop in third, a further 18.4 seconds out. So the top three, Boydie, are split by 18-second gaps at the moment.
Yeah, those gaps are starting to extend, but it's whether or not people can get themselves. It's a traditional race now. It's about getting to the finish, and you've still got another pit stop to come as well. There's still lots of potential for this leaderboard to change. At the moment, Hickman looks to have it under command, 18.9 seconds. He's just extending it a little bit, sector by sector, out to Harrison, and then 18.4 seconds back from Harrison to Dunlop. Ian Hutchinson also through there, and now he's another 41 seconds behind Dunlop. Then John McGuinness showing in fifth, and James Hillier sixth, but the sixth that have made it through to Balaf Bridge on this lap 3 of the RST Superbike TT.
Couple of other retirements just to bring you. Mike Brown has retired at the Mountain Mile, and at Quarterbridge, Michael Sweeney has retired. So Hickman, Harrison, Dunlop, Hutchie, McGuinness, Hillier, Rutter. They are the riders that have gone through, the only 7 riders thus far that have gone through Balaf.
So we go back to Glen Helen, and who's in 8th place? Glen Irwin.
Glen Irwin is 8 seconds down on Jamie Coward, who in turn is 8 down on John McGuinness. This is turning into quite the debut performance from Glen Irwin.
Yeah, he's put in so much homework to this. He's been methodical through practice, and he's just been building and getting faster and faster.
Was there ever in any doubt in your mind, Jenny, that he'd go this strong?
No, I mean, he's at the top of his game, isn't he? He won all 3 races at Silverstone. He is on point. He's done his homework. He knows what it takes to be here. He's got the best teachers. He's got the best team.
Let's hear now from Tit Lane. Gutted Lee Johnston, I bet. He was in 4th when he had to retire. Down to you, Beth.
Lee Johnston, don't even want to imagine what's going through your head now. What happened out there?
We've had an electrical problem. Something that happened midweek, and the guys put new part and everything on. Did it a little bit on the first lap, but cleared out, and then just as it came out of the pits, it's just sitting on the limiter at 8,000. So nobody's fault. It's just it's BMW's fault, but it's nobody in the team's fault, but a part, yeah. So a little bit frustrating, because we just starting to find my groove again, riding a big bike around here, and I haven't done that for a few years, so it's given me a little bit of confidence as well. But yeah, just really frustrating. It would have been nice I had it in my head before the race, if I got like a top 6, I would have been more than happy, and if we could do 130 mile-an-hour laps, and we were in 5th and we did 2 130, so it was going to plan, but this is motorbike racing and these things happen.
I think you were up into 4th when you had to retire, and just say hugely disappointing, but you were looking great out there.
Thank you. Who's leading?
I think it's still Hickey at the moment.
From Dean? Yeah, how far?
Yeah, let's 18 seconds.
Oh, okay. Are we allowed to discuss this on the radio?
We can discuss anything on the radio, Lee. I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thanks as ever then to Lee Johnston, always the character. And yes, I think I agree with Jenny up here. He'll take the positives out of that heading into his 2 Supersport races later on. Dean Harrison is through. Ramsey Hairpin, Michael Dunlop and Peter Hickman. They must be on top of each other on the course at the moment. In fact, you'll be able to see them shortly. There is Michael Dunlop. So McGuinness is now going round Ramsey Hairpin. Michael Dunlop now going round Ramsey Hairpin. Followed directly behind that is Peter Hickman, who goes through Ramsey, Boydie, 19.2 clear of Dean Harrison.
Yeah, Hickman's next target on the road is Michael Dunlop. If he gets with him, he'll have a really good tow up over the mountain, because obviously Michael's setting a fair pace, but he won't want to be sat behind him for too long, as Ian Hutchinson is the next man into Ramsey Hairpin. Hickman leads by 19.2 seconds from Harrison at Ramsey Hairpin on lap 3. Then Dunlop 18.3 seconds back on that. Ian Hutchinson now 47 seconds down on Dunlop in 4th place. Then John McGuinness in 5th and James Hillier in 6th. They don't change when we look back to Balaf. So in 7th, Jamie Coward. In 8th, Glen Irwin. 9th, Sean Anderson. 10th, Michael Rutter. And 11th, Dominic Herbertson at Balaf on lap 3.
Thomas Maxwell and Richard Charlton have sadly retired down in the pits here. So another couple of retirements to add to the list. It's Hickman, Harrison, Dunlop at the moment, the top 3. Jenny, of course, on the opening day of practice here, some of the riders did 6 laps, but it was kind of spread out a little bit over the day. Still tiring, but in a 6-lap Superbike race, these guys haven't done this exactly since 2019. So at what point now does it start to actually become quite a physical task on the body? Probably from the moment you set off, but...
Yeah, it's the adrenaline will be pumping, so they'll not actually appreciate how hard it is until they've got off the bike. It's the concentration level is so high. That is definitely a high stress point.
We can see going onto the mountain mile, Michael Dunlop is right in the slipstream of John McGuinness. It won't be long. There we go. He moves up to the left-hand side to overtake him up the inside. And we know Hickman is sitting just behind them on the road as well. Dunlop past McGuinness on the road.
Yes, Jamie Coward has just gone through Ramsey up into 7th place ahead of Michael Rutter. So Dunlop then will be ahead of McGuinness when they get to the bungalow. Dean Harrison is first on the road there, so he'll clock through there shortly. Here he is, right on cue, number 2, Dow Racing Kawasaki. So for the 3rd time then, Harrison goes through, and we'll now track to see how Peter Hickman gets on, because he'll be catching that group of McGuinness and Michael Dunlop any second now.
We know what Hickman can do up the mountain, so I'm sure he'll be with them in no time at all. We see Dean Harrison just moving into Brandywell through the right-hander, into the hard left-hander, and he's away off towards the 32nd.
Here's Peter Hickman as well. We can just see on our TV screens. He's now about to make a move on John McGuinness.
Right at the end of the veranda, and he's had him. Yeah, he's had him just into the left-hander before the mountain box. Hickman is past McGuinness and now chasing after Michael Dunlop.
Well, that's a reference now for John McGuinness. I don't think he really wanted anything to do with that, Jenny.
No, but it'd be good for John when he can hang on to Peter for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say that. When a faster rider does come past you, is it just about a case of just clinging on for as long as possible, maybe pick up on some lines, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. It's so nice to be riding with somebody and somebody who's just a little bit faster than you, because you can just get in the tow and follow them.
Through the bungalow then from Michael Dunlop with Peter Hickman in hot pursuit. There's not a lot splitting them. Hickman in turn is 19.7 seconds clear of Dean Harrison. And Michael Dunlop then 19.6 further back in 3rd.
Yeah, being caught behind traffic potentially has not cost Hickman anything. He's pushed the lead out from 19.2 to 19.7, so he's added another half a second on the run up to the bungalow. Hickman leads Harrison then, and then Michael Dunlop a further 19.2 back in 3rd. He may potentially be able to get a tow off Hickman if Hickman comes past him.
The Milwaukee BMW there of Ian Hutchinson heading through the bungalow, and Hickman is through on Michael Dunlop.
He's wasted no time at all there into Windy Corner. I think that is. He's done Michael on the run down into Windy Corner, and now Michael has tucked in right behind him on the run out towards the 33rd.
Michael Dunlop then, he won't like that much. He's now getting himself into the slipstream of Peter Hickman. This is 1st and 3rd in the race at the moment, by the way, in this RST Superbike race. Peter Hickman just so fast on this mountain section. He has not been able, no one's got close to matching the speed of Hickman in the last few years.
No, he's just on another level, isn't he? And he's so relaxed with it. It's incredible what he can do. And he's just so chill. It's obviously the mindset he's got is working well for him because he can ride so well.
It looks like Michael was aware Peter was behind him and seemed to pull to the left-hand side to give Hickman room to come past him on the run into Windy Corner there. But these top two are having completely different races, Jenny. Peter Hickman is trying to make his way through trouble. Dean Harrison is out there in total isolation doing his own thing.
Yeah, Dean always says that he likes to get out on his own and just do his own thing. So that would be perfect for him. Starting second on the road, that's what he wanted. He just wanted that clean air. Some riders like to have somebody to chase, but Dean likes to be on his own.
Glenn Irwin is just heading around Ramsey Hairpin with that orange on his leathers to denote that he is a newcomer. We'll keep track on Glenn's lap times as well. Peter Hickman, in terms of this actual lap in general, what are we heading for here, Boydie?
Well, this lap, of course, includes the pit stop. So this time, the pit stop time gets included in this lap.
In the first sector.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so Peter Hickman at the moment, then we're waiting for him to come through. Dean Harrison across the line. You can hear him singing past there. He goes past first. Of course, then we wait now for Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop. They will be coming through any second now.
Hickman, of course, now from a start number of 10 is second on the road. That's how much progress he's made. And with all these other retirements and dropouts, he's up to second on the road at the end of lap 3.
Eyes right for Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop. They'll be coming through any second now as we're just watching through Quarter Bridge there, Dean Harrison. So he's now about to head over. Oh, bit of a twitch on the rear there.
Yeah, a little bit of a spin up on the outer quarter bridge there, but nothing that Dean's not used to.
Okay, down into Governor's Dip, then come Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop, eyes right. They'll be on to Glenn Cutchery any second now. Peter Hickman, number 10 on the Gas Monkey FHO BMW, crosses the line. And Michael Dunlop follows. Here's John McGuinness. He now crosses the line as well. Brian McCormack, unfortunately, out of this race, is down with Beth.
Walking in here now. Brian, could I just grab a quick word with you, talk us through what happened?
Just a little bit of a water leak as well. Didn't want to cook the engine in the first race of the week, so just playing it safe. Unfortunately, the first lap was really good, and it was the first time we got that bike nice and comfy. The lads are working until about 2 or 3 o'clock last night to get it right, so I feel sorry for them as much as myself and for the team, because obviously they've put in a huge effort for this, but just disappointed because I said the first lap was good and I wanted to build on that. I get stronger as the race goes on, so look, it's only started of the week. We'll get there before the end of it.
Good conditions out there though, lots of people out watching you, and huge disappointment when you're out.
Yeah, that's huge. To see the crowds, it's amazing. Like for the first race of the week, it's brilliant, and the atmosphere is great out there and people waving at you, and it's good. It's great to be back and the sun is shining, so hopefully it'll stay like this for the week.
So easy problem to solve, you hope?
Yeah, I think it is. As I said, these lads, they're winning. The other bike is winning the race at the moment, so very experienced team. So yeah, I'm very confident we'll get it sorted.
So sorry, Brian, but thanks for talking to us.
No worries, thank you.
Peter Hickman at the moment is 22 seconds up on Dean Harrison at this moment in time, 22.826 to be precise, with Michael Dunlop in third before they head into Glen Helen. So far, so good for Peter Hickman, running an excellent pace, all under control on his Gas Monkey garage by FHO Racing BMW. Dean Harrison on for another second place behind Peter Hickman, of course, in the Superbike race. Michael Dunlop on for a return to the podium at present. He's 18.5 seconds down. This was to the grandstand, by the way, on Dean Harrison. John McGuinness at the moment is registering as in P4, ahead of Hutchie, actually, by 0.7 of a second, with Hillier in 6th and Michael Rutter 7th. Across the line here at the grandstands, we've just had Jamie Coward. He just moves himself up into 7th place behind James Hillier, but ahead of Michael Rutter.
We just go back and pick up some of go down outside the top 10. We just haven't had a chance so far. But in 11th place at the moment, Dominic Herbertson. In 12th, Craig Neve. In 13th, Nathan Harrison at his first TT race. In Rob Hodson in 14th. Paul Jordan, after that bird strike this morning, he's holding on to a top 15 position. Mark Goodings in 16th. Then David Detzer, 17th. Brendan Cretu in 18th. 19th, Josh Daly. And in 20th, Richard Wilson.
Over at Parliament Square, unfortunately, the experienced Mark Parrott has retired and out of the race. So bad news for Mark Parrott, as we have our eyes now on the helicopter on Peter Hickman. So far, so good, Jenny.
Yeah, he's just making it look easy, isn't he? He's just in the zone and out on his own now. Dunlop's dropped off a little bit. He's still chasing him. You can still see him, but he's not quite in that toe now.
Just saw Hickman heading through Gorsley, one of the fastest right-handers. He's actually told a couple of his friends and family to go and watch from there before.
Yeah, I've been there to watch. It's a spectacular place to watch. You can actually feel the wall move when they go past.
Incredible stuff then for Hickman. Dean Harrison is through Glen Helen, so he's the first rider into Glen Helen on his Dow Racing Kawasaki. We just now wait for Hickman and Michael Dunlop to come through as well. You can see that Dunlop has just lost a bit of time on Hickman. So we'll just wait there for them. Dom Herbertson has just gone over the line a moment ago in 9th place outright across the front of the grandstand here.
Hickman will be getting the boards. He will know that he can manage this lead, but he's got another pit stop to go. So it's how hard you push on a lap 4, Jenny. Do you really push and push and push, just keep building that lead? Or do you think now's the time to start conserving things?
Definitely. I'd say conserving. He's got enough of a buffer to just take it quite steady. He'll be controlling the pace. He'll be doing... He said you got to win in the slowest possible time, really. If you don't need to push, then don't push.
Yeah, and that's always been the sort of general approach for Peter Hickman as well. I mean, obviously, everyone wants that outright fast lap, but it's about winning, doing enough to win, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone, the record is great, and it's a bonus, but it's about those trophies. It's about winning.
It certainly is. So through Glen Helen, then, Peter Hickman is clear of Dean Harrison by 25.4 seconds now. He's increased his advantage. Michael Dunlop in third has just taken a second out of Dean Harrison, but he's still 17.2 behind Harrison. McGuinness at the moment, the fourth rider through Glen Helen. He's a minute and 1 minute, 1 second, 0.4 behind Dunlop.
In terms of where we are with sector times, just for comparison, Hickman out to Glen Helen on this lap, a 4:09.8. Dean Harrison, a 4:12.4. And then John McGuinness, a 4:18.1 of those riders through. Michael Dunlop, a 4:11.1. So Hickman standing 2 seconds or so every sector as this lead continues to grow. Now up to 25.432 seconds over Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop, 17.2 seconds back in third. Then John McGuinness, a minute back on that. And Ian Hutchinson is now just 1.9 seconds behind McGuinness. So there's a battle on there for fourth now between McGuinness and Hutchinson, just 1.9 seconds between those. And James Hillier isn't that far away either, 5.0, 5 seconds back on Hutchinson.
Yeah, there's some wily campaigners there. Through Kirkmichael for Dean Harrison, number 2, of course. So that's a good job from him. He'll be coming in to do his second pit stops shortly, 25 seconds behind Peter Hickman at this moment in time. Michael Rutter, we're just watching on screen, as well as just coming through Glen Helen, 50 seconds down on James Hillier in the battle at the moment for the top 6. If you're just tuning in and you're thinking, I haven't heard the Paget's boys being mentioned, unfortunately, as we heard from earlier on, both Davey Todd and Connor Cummins had to retire out of the race. That was whilst they were in 3rd and 4th place as well.
Both of them challenging for podiums and both of them out within, well, a few minutes of each other, really. Real disappointment for the Paget's team as we see Peter Hickman now making his way into Kirkmichael. He's through Douglas Road corner and there's Michael Dunlop behind him as well. He flicks it through the right-hander at Douglas Road corner, screaming on down through the streets of Kirkmichael now, Peter Hickman.
I was lucky enough, Jenny, to do a lap with Milky around there, Douglas Road, and then he told me how quick you guys are going through there, just through streets, any normal street at home. It's crazy.
It's one of the best places on the circuit to go through a village, a 30-mile-an-hour village, absolutely flat out. That's where you get the sense of speed for sure, and it's just, you get such a buzz going through there, and you can't help but grin.
Well, I'm not sure I'd be grinning, but we've got some cameras on Kirkmichael just at the moment. Through Balaf is Dean Harrison, so he comes through already. We've got a rider just coming into the pits here for potential retirement, I believe. We'll get more on that in just a moment. But Dean Harrison then first through. Through Balaf in a moment will be Peter Hickman. He'll be on the approach there shortly. Just watching James Hillier now. He's making his way up through Kirkmichael. Peter Hickman is through Balaf. He's 26.4 seconds up on Dean Harrison now. He's increased his advantage again. And further back, Michael Dunlop in 3rd, just chipping away at Dean Harrison's advantage on him, but still 15.8 seconds between them.
Still maintaining that 1:33 type pace that he's just riding at. Now riding out comfortably. It's David Detzer, it is, we think, who has retired in the pits here. So his race, unfortunately, over. He was in the top 20 as well, so having a really good performance. Yeah, Hickman then now 26.4 seconds up on Harrison at Balaf on lap 4. Sorry, not quite halfway around the lap. The halfway point of the lap is just on the approach to Sulby. So Hickman leads by 26.4 seconds to Harrison. Then Dunlop 15.9 seconds back on Harrison, and then it's a minute back to John McGuinness and Ian Hutchinson in 4th and 5th. Jamie Coward sits in 6th, then James Hillier 7th. Glenn Irwin continues to sit in 8th place. He's 14 seconds down on Hillier's 7th place. Sean Anderson is 9th, Michael Rutter 10th, and Dominic Herberton 11th.
Glenn Irwin will take that, won't he? 8th place, if he can hold on to that.
Yeah, he'll be over the moon with that. That's outstanding.
We're just watching Jamie Coward now coming through Kirkmichael. So 26.4 seconds is the gap from Hickman back to Dean Harrison. Do you think that the team, even though he's getting pit board information, next time he comes in for the pit stop, do you think the team will just be saying to him, Peter, come on, it's just time to cool it. You've got a little bit in the back pocket here.
Yeah, Peter will know that himself. He'll be getting pit boards. He'll know that he can just control the race. He's got enough of a gap just to chill out and take it steady.
You say that, but he's only, Hickman, 1 second outside of Dean Harrison's Superbike lap record time to Balaf. So he's still pushing on. Obviously, we've moved up quite a long way in these 3 years in terms of course and bike development. But it's there within reach for him, although he's going to be slowing down to come into the second and final pit stop.
You know, we have to just point out there's still a long way to go here. There's still a long way to go, and he'll be conscious, of course, about what happened with the fuel a couple of days ago as well.
Yeah, they're experienced. They'll have that in hand. He's already done 2 laps and not not run out. So they've got that under control, I'm sure.
So Peter Hickman through Balaf then was 26.4 clear of Dean Harrison. We've just got Dean through the Ramsey hairpin right now. So the number 2 bike, he's about to come up to Ramsey hairpin as we speak. He's through Ramsey, now into Ramsey hairpin. Number 2, Dow Racing Kawasaki. Currently in second place is Dean Harrison. Next up,
we still have plenty of riders coming in for their pit stops at the end of lap 2, and the front end of the field is all the way up at Ramsey and flying.
Just through Kirk Michael at the moment is Dom Herbertson. 36, Richard Wilson just come into pit lane. So from the grandstand to Balaf, the top 8 as we have it right now. Of course, not all the riders made it through. Hickman, Harrison, Dunlop, McGuinness, Hutchie, Coward, Hillier, and Michael Rutter. Peter Hickman has just gone through the Ramsey. He's about to come up towards the hairpin now. Michael Dunlop is keeping his tags on here to Peter Hickman, using him as reference. It's all working out nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. He seems to have closed a bit of a gap on him there, and he's right on his back wheel again now.
Yeah, Michael Dunlop then. They're just going up towards the waterworks now. Hickman and Dunlop right next to each other out on the roads. The gap then to the Ramsey hairpin. Hickman is 28.449 clear of Peter Hickman. Dunlop is closing that gap. He's benefiting from being behind Peter Hickman, Jenny. He's closed that gap up over the last couple of sectors. It's now 12.4. He's behind Dean Harrison.
Yeah, it's always good to have a rider to chase. It makes such a difference. It's just, you can see them ahead of you and you've got a target to aim for.
Just looking to see where this battle is for 4th, 5th and 6th. It's McGuinness at Balaf now by 4.5 seconds from Ian Hutchinson. McGuinness in 4th, Hutchinson in 5th, and then Jamie Coward 2.7 seconds back in 7th. In fact, James Hillier now slots in there as well. So it's McGuinness, Hutchinson, Coward and Hillier separated by no more than about 10 seconds between the 4 of them.
Ian Hutchinson's just gone through Ramsey. He's now coming around the hairpin. He's 4.4 seconds behind John McGuinness. James Hillier in turn has just gone through as well. He's 6th, the number 5 on the Rich Energy UMG Racing Yamaha. He's 6.1 seconds behind Ian Hutchinson.
Just looking at Hickman's time to Ramsey, we said he was a second outside of the Superbike, that record pace to Balaf. He's now flipped off to about 6 seconds behind at Ramsey, and that was what we saw earlier on in the race. It seems to be that section from Balaf through to Ramsey, which is the most difficult piece of the track to get the bike set up for, isn't it, Jenny?
Yeah, definitely. He'll have his Superbike settings, but nearer to his Superbike settings, so it'll be more suited to different sections for sure. And that, yeah, he's not quite as great through that section there.
Quick check on Glenn Irwin, and he's in 8th place at the moment, 13.5 seconds behind James Hillier. If we just look a little bit further down at the order and riders who are coming through Balaf, just behind Glenn Irwin is Sean Anderson at the moment in 9th place overall on the Crendon by Hawk Racing Suzuki. Dominic Herbertson is in 10th. He's 7.9 seconds behind Sean Anderson. Michael Rutter then comes in on the Bathams BMW, number 3. He's 11th. They are the only 11 riders at the moment that have made it through there. Clive Paget is with Beth. Unfortunately, it's not quite gone to plan. The riders are okay, but 2 retirements. Down to you, Beth.
Clive, obviously not the way you wanted things to work out today. Do you know what's gone on?
Yeah, I just spoke to Davey, actually. In fact, I spoke to the marshal at the end of Sulby there, and he told me what had gone on, but he said David walked down to the Sulby Glen Hotel, so I just rang the pub there and got hold of Davey, and unfortunately, it's a rear tyre issue. Yeah.
So huge disappointment. And then for Connor as well, what happened with him?
Yeah, I don't know, unfortunately, on Connor. Connor's stuck up by the Craig somewhere, I understand, but I couldn't comment on that one yet. But the other one, yeah, what a shame. But
so what was that rear tyre issue for Davey?
Well, I've not seen the tyre yet, but Davey tells me it's not in good shape.
Okay, Clive, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Well, that's not good news at all. Of course, Davey Todd out there running Dunlops as well, so a rear tyre issue. Let's not speculate too much because, of course, until the bike comes back in, we can't really say too much, but there'll be some pretty big concern about that based on all the hype that was going on pre-TT.
Indeed, for those who haven't been here throughout TT so far, Dunlop withdrew the slick tyre after their problems at the Northwest 200 and advised riders to use a treaded tyre here at the TT. Clearly that treaded tyre has not worked either, unfortunately, and that's a big blow for Davey Todd and must be a bit of a concern as we go into the rest of the race week.
Yeah, they'll be looking into that, that's for sure, a little bit later on. The top 4 riders are just on the road anyway. I've gone through the bungalow. Interesting, this one, Boydie. Michael Dunlop, as me and Jenny were just talking about a moment ago, using Peter Hickman to his advantage. He is clawing back the gap to Dean Harrison. The gap between himself and Dean Harrison, which was 18 or 19 seconds at one point, is now down to 9.2.
Yeah, he's coming, and he's coming really quickly, isn't he? He's had 3 seconds out of him just hooking on to Peter Hickman on the climb of the mountain. We know how good Hickman is. He's used that to slice 3 seconds out of that difference from Ramsey Hairpin to the bungalow. It's Peter Hickman that leads the way now by over 30 seconds. 33.1 seconds Hickman leads Harrison by. Then 9.2 seconds back to Dunlop in a battle for second. A minute and 20 after that back to John McGuinness, and he's in that battle with Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier. 3.6 seconds back to Hillier from McGuinness, and 7.9 back to James Hillier.
Those of you that are watching from the grandstand, I'm sure you can see a little bit of action going on in pit lane as we get prepared then for the second pit stops. Dean Harrison is through Kronknamona, and shortly you'll be seeing the Dow Racing Kawasaki heading into pit lane, where we'll of course then cross down to Kinners. At the moment then it's Peter Hickman through the bungalow, 33 seconds clear on Dean Harrison, and this is going to be crucial now, a crucial point of the race for Dean Harrison, with that gap coming down on Michael Dunlop as well. It was a fast pit stop last time for Michael Dunlop. Races can be won and lost down there in pit lane, and so let's just keep our eyes right now, because any second now you'll be seeing Dean Harrison coming into pit lane where things could unfold. And here we go now, just getting closer and closer. That's the siren. Down to you, Kinners. Here comes Dean.
Yeah, the gap has been extending all through the lap. We'll be keeping a little line at looking at the lap times or the pit stop times earlier on. Quickest was the Milwaukee Tyco team with just over 49 seconds. It was 58 and a bit for Dean's team last time round. We did say that was Michael Dunlop's was 56 seconds and Peter Hickman's was 58. So Dean Harrison's team and Hickman's team very, very similar. So the rear tyre is already out of his machine, the Dunlop. So the treaded rear tyre goes back into the quick release thing that they have and just slides into position. The chain just drops over the back of that sprocket, over the back first and up over the top and in, then given a quick spin. Then the spindle goes in, the spindle into position. You feel it click, it gets tightened up by a normal ratchet, and then you can hear now with the little torque wrench goes on. No idea what torque they go on it, no little windy gun on that sort of thing. They're just waiting for the fuel to go up, and here's Hickman in now, and he goes across the stop box and across the transponder right now. Chris and Steve will get that time for Michael Dunlop. So the 1, 2, 3 and the race is in. Michael Dunlop is in just behind Dean Harrison. He leaves. What are the lap times, boys?
So Peter Hickman comes in and he was 36 seconds clear of Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop 36 seconds down on Dino overall, Boydie.
Yeah, it was a 16-minute 59.3 for Peter Hickman, a 13.1 for Dean Harrison out on lap 4. So that's a 14 seconds that Peter Hickman has added to his lead across the lap. But Michael Dunlop did a 17-minute 0.6. So he took 13 seconds, well, 12 and a half seconds out of Harrison's second place across that fourth lap. Then John McGuinness in fifth.
Yeah, just for reference, Kinners, that is Michael Dunlop's fastest lap of the week so far, 133.086.
54.51 for Dean Harrison on his pit stop that time, so they shaved 4 seconds off that. It's Peter Hickman leaving now as well, 58.014 on the first lap and 58.587. So very, very similar there. Michael Dunlop's out as well. He was a second slower that time, 57.2. You hear the klaxon go once more, and he's right on his tail. So number 4, here comes the Milwaukee team. Now 49 seconds it was the first time round, 49.591 for Hutchie's team. They're very well drilled on in that Milwaukee team. Here's McGuinness, 4th place, over a minute behind Dunlop though. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that, John. He just checks the limiter as he left the pit stop. Very experienced, just had a little bit of thumb. And here's Hillier, that R1 just blatters past us here. 54.8 for John McGuinness on the first pit stop and 55.4 for the second one. We wait for the klaxon to go. All quiet in here at the moment. Just Hillier, number 5 and number 4. The black bike of Hillier and the red bike of Hutchinson. And there they go. Here the Milwaukee BMW fire in. But he just hits the limiter once more. 60 kilometers an hour. No more and no less. All quiet in the pits at the moment. And there's Hutchie's team out. 49.5 and 48.3 that time. That's 10 seconds quicker than Hickman's one. So if it was closer than that, that's a lot of time to lose in the pits. Number 3, Michael Rutter in right alongside us now on the Batham's BMW. The rear stand goes in, and Michael Hillier still in. Quite a long pit stop for James. Maybe a few issues were there. We'll keep an eye on that time. James's first lap pit stop, the second lap pit stop was the 107.07. Hear the klaxon go once more, and there's the R1 firing into life halfway down. Here comes the next bike in. It's another R1. It's number 12. It's Jamie Coward. Jamie going well at the moment as he crossed the line. Where's Jamie in the standings? 6th at the moment, 2.6 back off Ian Hutchinson. So the lead is Hickman by 36.5 from Harrison. Then it's 6.0 back to Dunlop. McGuinness, 1 minute 25 back off Dunlop. Hutchinson, 3.5 back off McGuinness. And then Jamie Coward, 2.6 back off him. Hillier, 6 seconds back off him in 7th. And then Michael Rutter just in, 58 seconds back on the number 3 bike. He's in at 8th position. So number 3 and number 12 both into their pit stop. Looking at Hillier's pit stop very quickly. We'll hand back to the boys in a second. James Hillier's 1 minute and 2.675. So they knocked 5 seconds off last time as Michael Rutter exits the pits. Michael Rutter's pit stop time, 1 minute 4.188. Chris and Steve.
On the way out of the pit stops, it was 4 seconds sliced off Hickman's advantage. It drops from 36.5 to 32.5 seconds after the pit stop. But Michael Dunlop's lost a little bit of time to Dean Harrison there. He's got back out from 6th, having done all the work to cut the lead to 6th. He's lost 2.8 seconds in the pits. It's gone out to 8.8 seconds between Harrison and Dunlop for second place, Steve.
Yeah, it has indeed. And we're going to obviously get these guys through Glen Helen for the first time. Just a quick one further down, because it's a struggle at times to have a look at some of the riders who are a bit further back. I can tell you that Glen Irwin was 8th last time we looked, with Sean Anderson in 9th, as Peter Hickman screams around Gorsley Corner. Sean Anderson 9th, then Craig Neve is just a bit further back there. You've got Nathan Harrison, of course, on his debut TT race. He's going really well, with Rob Hodgson just behind him, Paul Jordan, Mark Goodings, Michael Evans, and the American Brandon Cretu.
Glen Irwin at the bungalow was already first race of the TT, only 3 seconds outside of Peter Hickman's newcomer lap record, which was set at the end of his TT newcomer week.
Herbertson is in 8th at the moment then, as he comes into pit lane, the orange and blue Haith machine. Good job from him, the rider from Hexham. Down to you, Kinners. It is number 22, Glen Irwin. He's in.
Yeah, great position for Glenn at the moment, running inside that top 10. Let's give you his lap time if we can this time, as he's gone across the line. If I can bring that to you, 128.4, so pretty similar to what he did last night in practice, 128.6. Number 15, Herbertson in at the moment, and number 22, Glen Irwin. This is a new experience, isn't it, having a pit stop like this? I'm not sure if he's done any endurance racing. And we've also got Sean Anderson in at the moment. What's Sean Anderson's lap? We'll give you that as well if we can with the details. But Sean Anderson running pretty well at the moment. Glen Helen, the late leader on the road. And of course, second in the race at the moment is through Glen Helen. We're just waiting for the final adjustment just been made to Glenn's bike there. They're just having a little check there now. Just make sure the tension of the chain, takes the rear stand out, gets his gloves into position, flicks the showy helmet down, clicks it into position. Dominic Herbertson just goes in the background. And the number 22, Deviton Honda, fires the 30th anniversary Fireblade down pit lane at exactly 60 kilometres an hour. Hey, that's not shy, is it, Steve?
That was right on the button there for Glen Irwin. Bang on 60 as he leaves pit lane. Brilliant so far from Glen Irwin. Struggling with tendinitis, though, earlier in the week. He might be starting to feel that at some point. You mentioned adrenaline, but tendinitis is a proper issue, isn't it? He's having it worked on, I think, in June.
Yeah, he'd have
Well, we are in June, but in a few weeks, sorry.
He'd have had intensive work on that during the course of practice week, and he'll have that hopefully managed. Yeah, hopefully he'll not be feeling that, and because he's doing so well, it'd be great if he could get to the end of the race without any serious issues with that.
The top three are through Glen Helen, Boydie. Where are we sitting at the moment?
It is, as we thought, out of the pit stops. Hickman led Harrison by about 32.5 seconds after the pit stop. He's added another second on the run out to Glen Helen. It's 33.5 seconds now. Hickman leads Harrison by. Then Michael Dunlop, we thought it was 8.8 seconds leaving the pits. It's out to 9.5 now, because Dunlop's just dropped off that toe of Hickman. He doesn't have that advantage anymore. If he's going to make inroads on Harrison, he's got to do it himself now. Hickman leads Harrison, 33.5 seconds at Glen Helen on lap 5. Michael Dunlop then 9.5 seconds down on Harrison. Then Ian Hutchinson has now overhauled John McGuinness for 4th. But Hutchinson up to 4th, 1 minute and 25 down on Dunlop, but 6 seconds ahead of John McGuinness. Jamie Coward in 6th. Then James Hillier, Glen Irwin, Sean Anderson and Dom Herbertson rounding out the top 10.
Mike Norbury has fallen at the hairpin. Ryder is okay. That's over the Ramsey hairpin. There we can actually see Mike. He's on the phone, giving the team a call back just to let him know that he's absolutely A-OK. So Mike Norbury, unfortunately, is out. The top 6 then through Glen Helen. As we mentioned before, Peter Hickman it is that leads from Dean Harrison. Then it's Dunlop. Hutchie then has moved up into 4th ahead of McGuinness and James Hillier.
while they make their way up the west side of the course. Let's very quickly go a bit further down the leaderboard. 11th at the end of lap 4, Michael Rutter. Then Nathan Harrison in 12th. Rob Hodson 13th. Craig Nee 14th. 15th, Mikey Evans. In fact, he's just been overhauled by Paul Jordan. Paul Jordan 15th. Mikey Evans 16th. Julian Trummer in 17th from there.
We're just seeing Dean Harrison. He's gone through Balaf. He's now on the approach and going through Balacry Bend. So he's through there already. In that battle for fourth, which has been pretty close so far, then 6 seconds at Glen Helen between Hutchie and John McGuinness.
Just when you come into those pit stops, how much information does a rider want? How much do the teams actually tell the rider when he's in?
Just obviously position and who's closest to you, whether to push or whether to relax and take it steady. That's probably just it, really. Any other questions that the rider might have, but not too much information.
Dean Harrison has gone through Balaf, but Peter Hickman has now as well, with Michael Dunlop just in behind him. So Hickman is 35.005 seconds clear at this stage, of course, on his fifth lap of 6. Michael Dunlop 9.1 seconds behind Dean Harrison, and if he can just try and keep Peter Hickman in sight, that's going to help drag him along, because Dean at the moment is doing his work solo.
Yeah, Michael was just as Peter was coming through Kurt Michael as Peter was coming through Kurt Michael Dunlop was just sort of coming into the top of Kurt Michael, and he can probably just see Peter in the distance. If he can keep that visual, it'll help him massively to get that toe again and get that gap on Dean.
James Hillier has just rounded Douglas Road corner, and now he's on the approach through the streets at Kirkmichael. James Hillier, of course, this is his first race for this team here, first race on a Yamaha at the TT. He's in line at the moment for a possible top 5. I think he'd take that on the day when all is said and done. And John McGuinness, of course, if he ends up finishing 4th in this one, although he's battling with Hutchie right now, I think that would be a job well done on your 100th TT.
I think John will take that any day of the week. That would be a great result for him if he can get that.
Michael Dunlop is absolutely not giving this up. He has taken 4 tenths back on Harrison on the run between Glen Helen and Balaf. So that gap for second place down from 9.5 to 9.1 seconds. Hickman leads at Balaf by 35 seconds now. 30 keeps extending. 35 seconds Hickman leads Harrison. Then those 9.1 seconds back to Dunlop, and then back to Ian Hutchinson and John McGuinness. And that battle's tightening up as well. It was 6 seconds at Glen Helen. It's down to 3.6. McGuinness trails Hutchinson by now at Balaf, as James Hillier becomes the 6th man, into Balaf.
Yeah, there's a few riders that are on for personal bests here. Sean Anderson in 9th, that would be his best Superbike result. Dom Herbertson, if he can pick up a spot or 2, that would be his best Superbike performance as well. He's at the moment 10 seconds down on Sean Anderson. Glenn Irwin is only 11 seconds down on James Hillier. He's been just gradually, sector by sector, pulling in a few seconds there, the newcomer, number 22. 8th already would be a fantastic result for the newcomer. And another shout out to Nathan Harrison as well, at the moment inside the top 12 on his debut TT, on the streets that he goes to work on. He's doing a splendid job, the number 28.
Harrison now into Ramsey Hairpin. We can see him up through Stella Maris. Big break in the zone into Ramsey Hairpin. And of course, he'll be getting boards showing that he's 30 odd seconds down. But his worry now is Michael Dunlop from behind. It's not necessarily about trying to chase Hickman at all. He's away and gone. It's now conserving that second position from Michael Dunlop.
Yeah, indeed. Peter Hickman will be the next one through then, the Ramsey Hairpin. And we'll see whether or not he's consolidated that lead.
Absolutely. We'll just run down the positions at Balaf Bridge then. It was 35 seconds Hickman to Harrison, then Dunlop, as we know, in 3rd. Hutchinson in 4th, those 3.6 seconds ahead of John McGuinness in a battle for that 4th place finish. Jamie Coward is 15 seconds down on them, and he's in a battle with James Hillier, who's only 8 seconds behind him. And then there's a minute or so back to Michael Rutter.
Peter Hickman doing everything right. He rounds Ramsey Hairpin. Few flames pop out of the exhaust pipe. He's 36.4 seconds clear of Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop there as well, just trying to keep him in vision. 8.1 seconds down on Dean Harrison. There's certainly enough time here for things to change for 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously they're approaching the run over the mountain now, so it'll be easier for Dunlop to see Peter and try and pull that gap together, and he'll be able to visually see if he's closing into Peter, and then he'll know he'll be catching Dean.
Just looking through Kirkmichael at the moment on our TV screens at Glen Irwin, number 22. with the orange leathers, and just behind him is Big Sean Anderson, number 19.
Absolutely. At Ramsey Hairpin, then the lead has gone out again from 35 up to 36.4 seconds as John McGuinness arrives at Ramsey Hairpin. 36.4 seconds now. Hickman leads Harrison, then 8 seconds. So Dunlop keeps just nudging another second off. 8.1 seconds between Harrison and Dunlop, and then John McGuinness, the fourth rider through Ramsey Hairpin.
Jamie Coward's having a decent race at the moment. He's moved up into 6th place now, ahead of James Hillier and Michael Rutter. Next for him would be John McGuinness on the road. At the moment, McGuinness and Hutchie, they're so close. Hutchinson is in 4th at Ramsey Hairpin, but just 1.9 seconds clear of John McGuinness on his Honda.
That's turning into a big battle for 4th place, and with the attrition we've had early in this race, you don't know what could happen up ahead. It could yet become a podium battle. These 6 laps round here is about the longest race these bikes will do all year, it has to be said. And how conscious are you of that as you go around, Jenny?
Yeah, very conscious, especially like you say for these new machines having such a break, and there being new machines around this course, you'd be wanting to. You'd be thinking, is there something going to go wrong? Is something going to break down? And you'll be on your mind for sure.
At the moment, the fastest lap that we've seen, of course, was Peter Hickman, 133.4. Following that, Michael Dunlop, 133.0. Shout out to Jamie Coward. It's his first ever 130 mile an hour plus lap on a superbike, and he's in 6th at the moment. He's closing. So good job from Jamie Coward. Right, through Ramsey Hairpin then. We've got the top 6 riders that are through, and Coward will join in that in a moment. Through the bungalow already is Dean Harrison.
Absolutely, it's getting a little bit spread out at the front now with Harrison, and then obviously Hickman second on the road with Michael Dunlop just a couple of seconds off him on the road. So that's the order on the road. It's not quite the order in the race because you've got to flip those front 2. It's Hickman that leads the way from Harrison, then Dunlop, as we watch Hickman now actually on the approach to the bungalow. Smooth flowing lines. You can see the helicopters chasing him to get the shot. It does look a bit breezy up there on the mountain, actually, just on these shots. The photographer's bibs are fluttering in the wind.
He's about to flash through then the sector point at the bungalow. Peter Hickman is 38.5 seconds clear of Dean Harrison on lap 5 of 6 here. The Isle of Man TT, the first race of the week.
And Hickman just had a board there. We saw the board come out at the bungalow just on the run up Halewood's Rise. So Hickman will be fully aware of the position that he's pushed this lead out again to 38.5 seconds. It just keeps growing and growing. And the advantage between Harrison and Dunlop pretty much the same. It was 8.1 seconds at Ramsey Hairpin. It's 8.3 now, but it's still there if Dunlop can put in a big push over the end of lap 5 and through lap 6.
Yeah, it's strange to believe that Peter Hickman only won his first TT race back in 2018. It feels like he's been here forever because he's just been so successful since that victory.
Yeah, once you get that one victory under your belt, it does not give you some confidence, and that's obviously what he's carrying through. He knows he can win, and he knows he's comfortable on that bike. He does British Championship day in, day out, and he's so at one with his machine, and it's showing.
All 14 of Peter Hickman's podiums in the last 3 visits to the island. Of course, we've had a couple of years off since then. He is in the moment in control of this Superbike race. He's in pursuit of his 6th victory. Through the bungalow goes John McGuinness, number 1 in his 100th TT start on the 30th anniversary Fireblade. How is he now getting on in this battle for 4th with Ian Hutchinson?
Waiting for Ian Hutchinson to get there. He's not at the bungalow. In fact, here he is now. We should get his time any second. It was 1.9 seconds McGuinness had closed to at Ramsey Hairpin. Where are we now? It's 2.8 seconds. So Hutchinson's actually taken a second or so back on the climb of the mountain in that battle for 4th place. 2.8 seconds McGuinness trails Hutchinson.
Yeah, Hillier, of course, a bit further back, and then Coward actually 6th last time we looked over at Ramsey. Now, Dean Harrison is through Cronknamona. He's about to come to the end of his 5th lap and start his final lap of this RST Superbike race. At the moment, he's got 2nd place, but can he hold on to it around this 37.73 mile course ahead of Michael Dunlop? We'll be hearing him heading down Glen Crutchery any second now. In the battle for the top 6, it's Hickman, Harrison, Dunlop, Hutchinson, McGuinness and Hillier. Down to you, Beth. We're going to get Dean across the line in a second, Grandstand.
Yeah, I'm just in the gas monkey tent. How are the nerves in here?
Yeah, very nervous. Always the last couple of laps is always very tense for us. The whole event is, to be fair, but the last couple of laps just to bring it home. But he's built up a really good barrier now. So all he's got to do really is bring it home so he can cruise a little bit really. And Michael's tagged onto the back of him, which is good. So that's going to bring Michael up a little bit as well. So yeah, we're really, really confident. You never know till the TT's over. So until he goes over that line on lap 6, you never know what's going to happen. But quietly confident, fingers crossed and everything. And yeah, it's been good so far.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to us. Back up to you guys.
Yeah, thanks very much, Beth. At the moment, Peter Hickman in control. He's just gone over the line, 40 seconds, 0.7 clear.
Yeah, on that lap, Dean Harrison, this includes the second pit stop, of course. Dean Harrison did 18 minutes 00.2. Peter Hickman did 17:56.7, so he's had another 3.5 seconds to his lead across that lap. And Michael Dunlop in 18 minutes and 2.5. In terms of the race overall, it puts Hickman's lead up to 40 seconds now, 40.072 seconds. And Michael Dunlop is still that 8.3 seconds behind Dean Harrison in the battle for second, still only 8.3 as they have 37.73 miles to do.
We just saw him over Aggo's Leap. He takes that unusual line on the approach to Quarterbridge where he stays over to the right-hand side. Jenny, is that to avoid the bumps on the left?
Yeah, you want to stay over to the right. There's also a bit of a road there, which you have to give it a little bit of throttle just to kind of jump. You get on the brakes and then you have to give it a bit of gas again. It's just they're always picking the best side of the road, whether it's a less camber or less bumps. So yeah, you'll see him over there.
And slow corners like Quarterbridge, etc. They're the corners just to get through, aren't they? Because you can you're not going to, if you just get through that, the time to make up are through the fast ones.
Yeah, they always say you make up the most time through the fastest corners, and you don't want to tip off on a slow corner.
Fantastic stuff from Jenny Tinmouth, who's joining us up here in the commentary box. Don't forget, of course, later on this afternoon, we've got a sidecar race still to bring you. So through the grandstand, we just saw Peter Hickman. He's 40.0 seconds clear of Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop is 8.3 down on Dean Harrison. John McGuinness is through on us, and now Ian Hutchinson. The gap between Hutchinson in fourth and John McGuinness is 3.275 seconds. So they've got a lap to try and sort out the battle for fourth.
Absolutely. These two battles going on then between Harrison and Dunlop for second and third, and between Hutchinson and McGuinness for fourth and fifth. It's Harrison holding second at the moment from Dunlop and Hutchinson holding fourth from McGuinness as we try to just see where they are on the course. It looks like they're already on that run out to Ballacrane. Yeah, over the top of Crosby Leap, that looks like, as the front wheel pours the air over the top of Crosby Leap and then on down into the Griever Curds. Meanwhile, Dean Harrison up the road is just heading through Gorthley, so he's on the approach to Ballacrane and about to flick through the square right-hander at Ballacrane and then head off up to Glenhelen.
Nathan Harrison is 12th ahead of Rob Hodson. Craig Neve follows. Then it's Paul Jordan, Mark Goodings, Brandon Cretu, and I think I've just got Josh Daly on my screen, but of course they're all in various sectors at this moment in time. David Jackson also in that battle as we focus on the leading group. And we follow the leaders across the grandstand. 6 riders have gone past. James Hillier's hunt for a top 5. He'd have to find 25 seconds for that one.
Yeah, he's got Jamie Coward between him and John McGuinness as well. So after McGuinness, it's 12.9 seconds back to Jamie Coward, and then another 12.2 seconds back to Hillier. And then Michael Rutter is 8th of the riders that have come towards the end of the 5th lap at the moment.
Coming over the line, Jamie Coward and Michael Rutter. Jamie Coward is now just 11 seconds down on John McGuinness. He's catching McGuinness and Ian Hutchinson. There is a chance, over one lap here, because it's not exactly a short one, that Coward might just be able to finish in 4th. That would be a great result for him.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. That would be a fantastic result for him. And if he can catch them up and see them, that would be great.
Jamie Coward, of course, not really known for his superbike stuff. He's had a pretty solid week, been building the rider from Hebden Bridge, the 31-year-old on that KTS Racing Yamaha, of course, once on the podium in the lightweight back in 2019. Looking now for a big result on his superbike, and this at the moment is on course for it. If you're just tuning in to Radio TT, we're broadcasting on Manx Radio AM 1368, on FM 87.9 and 101.6, online iomttraces.com. If you're just tuning in, thanks for joining us here for the first race of the 2022 Isle of Man races, of course fueled by Monster Energy. Davey Todd and Connor Cummins unfortunately had to retire. They were in 3rd and 4th at the time. Nightmare for them. Hopefully they can come back stronger in the races to come. And Lee Johnston then inherited 4th and himself had to retire out of the race as well. 40.2 seconds is the gap between Hickman and Harrison through Glen Helen, with Michael Dunlop 10 seconds now down on Dean Harrison. So in that sector, Boyd, it looks like Dean Harrison has just clawed a couple of seconds back.
Almost identical pace for them on the run out to Glen Helen, of both doing 4-minute 11s, 4-minute 11.2 for Hickman, 4:11.3 for Harrison, and then Dunlop just a little bit behind that on a 4:13.
We just heard there the team, of course, of Peter Hickman saying it's just time to bring it home. But what can Peter now do in order to bring it home? I mean, what will he change about his game plan on this final lap?
Well, we just saw him there on the screen. He was just doing some wheelies for the crowd there. So he's obviously enjoying himself. He knows he's got a bit of buffer. Everyone's waving at him because they know he's well in the lead and he's obviously enjoying it. It's funny because he'll be relaxed, but he'll still be so fast. You know, you bring it back, but he's still on the pipe. You know, he's in that zone.
We always say as well, Jenny, that to everybody that's listening, that he's really laid back, that he's almost horizontal. But it is the true story, isn't it? I've never met anyone like him.
No, he's always having fun. That's his whole strategy to life, I think. And racing his motorbike, you know, he loves it and he just enjoys it, and he knows that he will ride his best when he's having fun.
Through Glen Helen, let's see what's happening in this battle for 4th place, which is fascinating as it develops. Hutchie then is 5.9 seconds clear of John McGuinness. We'll track Jamie Coward when he gets there, but he's just got a little bit of a wait before he gets to Glen Helen. He was 11.8 seconds down on McGuinness when he came across the line. This is the final lap of the RST Superbike race, the first race, the Isle of Man TT races in 2022, the first race that we've had in 3 years. We've got the sidecars still to come. We've got a packed schedule for you at the moment. Of course, tomorrow we've got a scheduled day off. Then on Monday, we'll have solo warm-up laps, the first Supersport race and the Superstock race to bring you as well. But right now, Peter Hickman in control, 40.072 seconds clear of Dean Harrison, looking for his 6th TT win.
On his 6th lap, and Dean Harrison has done his personal fastest sector of the race between Glen Helen and Balaf. So this last lap, he's not hanging back. He's still pushing on. That's for sure. A 3:05.1 for him. We'll see how Peter Hickman's time compares when he arrives shortly at Balaf Bridge. It was 40.2 seconds for Harrison at back to Harrison at Glen Helen, then 10 seconds back to Michael Dunlop from Harrison, then Ian Hutchinson holding on by 5.9 seconds over John McGuinness, and James Hillier 26.7 back on that, but we are waiting for Jamie Coward to arrive at Glen Helen.
Peter Hickman then goes through Balaf. He's just come through now, so that's the second sector done on this final lap. He's 38.7 seconds clear of Dean Harrison. The gap between Dean Harrison and Michael Dunlop has just stretched again, 12.2 now. Behind Dean Harrison is Michael Dunlop, who's in line, by the way, for his first podium on a big bike since 2018. Of course, he won that race here in 2018, but that now seems like quite a long time ago, doesn't it? 4 years for him to pick up that podium. We did have that 2-year gap, of course. The gap in this battle for 4th, 5th and 6th, by the way, Jamie Coward has taken another little chunk out of John McGuinness. He's 10.4 seconds behind McGuinness, who is in 5th. James Hillier is in 7th. He's 16 seconds down on Coward, with Michael Rutter in 8th.
Harrison has just cut the lead a little bit by 1.5 seconds on the run up from Glen Helen to Balaf. Hickman's lead still 38.7 seconds though, so it's still very, very safe, providing all goes well from Balaf back to the grandstand. It's then 12.2 seconds now back from Harrison to Dunlop, so another 2.25 seconds have been added by Harrison to his advantage over Michael Dunlop in that battle for second. So we've got the top 3 through. John McGuinness has just gone over Balaf Bridge for the final lap of his 100th TT. We've got our eyes now on Glenn Irwin. He's just heading around Gorsley Corner, number 22, on his final lap of the race. I wonder whether or not he could produce
a special 1:30 for us on the final lap.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. But Michael Rutter has just got back past him in terms of the race at the end of lap 5. Rutter holds on to 8th place now. Glenn Irwin slips to 9th, but still that's an impressive performance on your TT debut. Sean Anderson holding 10th, then 11th to 20 at the moment. We've got Dominic Herbertson, Nathan Harrison, Rob Hodson, Craig Neve, Paul Jordan, Mikey Evans, Julian Trummer, Mark Goodings, Brendan Cratu and David Jackson.
It seems like so far since we woke up and we came here, Peter Hickman's just been in complete control of this. From the first sector that we saw, he's been fired up. He has built this huge advantage and just hasn't let up. It's just time now to have fun. But surely in the back of your mind, you must be thinking, just don't let anything go wrong here on this final lap, especially the last bit between Kronk and the grandstand as well. It can be a bit tight and technical. It's kind of like get me home mode.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the very last few corners, they're really slow. So, you buzz in and you've just done the mountain and it's been unbelievably fast. And then you come into those last few slow corners and you've got to remember not to just do something daft.
Dean Harrison goes around. Ramsey hairpin then for the final time of this RST Superbike race. We wait now for Peter Hickman to flash through there. There's a couple of riders just coming through the bungalow section at the moment as well. We're waiting for Jamie Coward to go through Balaf so we can see what's happening in that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. McGuinness with 5 seconds down on Hutchie that last time around. Peter Hickman goes through Ramsey hairpin. He's about to go round it as we speak. Again, Dean Harrison's just pinched just under a second off him, but Peter Hickman at the moment is in just a cruise mode. And Michael Dunlop, I think, is going to be waving the white flag to the pursuit of second place. He's 14.5 seconds down on Dean Harrison in the battle for second.
Absolutely. Just under 12 miles to go for Peter Hickman on the Gas Monkey machine as he heads towards what potentially is another TT victory in this opening RST Superbike TT of 2022. Dean Harrison is now 37.5 seconds down on Hickman, so he has taken another second out of that difference on the run-up from Balaf to Ramsey, and then Michael Dunlop is now slipping further back from Dean Harrison, 14.5 seconds out from Harrison to Dunlop now, but Dunlop holding on to that podium position on the Suzuki.
Peter Hickman's just waving to the fans here, Jenny. There's like roars of applause around the island every time he comes around. He's got his arm up as well. What an amazing feeling this must be for him.
Yeah, that's a bit too casual, that, isn't it?
That was a bit, wasn't it? That wasn't just a tiny wave. That was a full-on arm up in the air wave to the fans there from Hickey.
That shows you how in control he is, though. He's still fast and waving to everybody.
Through Kirkmichael, we can see on our TV screens for Glenn Irwin on his final lap as a newcomer. The top three, then we know Hickman, Harrison, Dunlop. 4th place is still up for grabs. Jamie Coward again took another couple of seconds out of John McGuinness. So will McGuinness hold on to 5th, or will Jamie Coward poach it off him?
Well, they're running at Balaf, and there's still 8 seconds between McGuinness and Coward. There's 5 seconds between Hutchinson and McGuinness. So that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th is still raging. Then back to James Hillier in 7th and Michael Rutter, who I think is just outside the top 10. Oh, no, he's 8th now, isn't he? He's moved up to 8th. He's ahead of Glenn Irwin. So Hickman then at 37.5 seconds from Harrison at Ramsey hairpin. Then back to Dunlop. Hutchinson has made it now there. It's 5.8 seconds. Hutchinson leads McGuinness by in that battle for 4th.
Just seeing there some images of Peter Hickman. I mean, do I detect a bit of showboating there?
Absolute showboating on the go there. Just looking over at the helicopter, I think, there. And yeah, he's comfortable, isn't he? I don't think he's worried about anything going wrong with his machine. He's very confident in that bike and he's just enjoying this last lap.
Of course, told by his dad once, you'll never go racing in the TT, but we're so glad that in the end he decided to come and play because he is fantastic fun, a brilliant guy, and he is now well on course. 40.2 seconds clear. Through the bungalow is Dean Harrison then. Harrison now coming around the bungalow. He's gone up through Halewood's Rise, and he is on at the moment for P2 is Harrison. He will be the first to take the checkered flag here.
And he's had a race pretty much on his own. He caught John McGuinness quite early in the first part of the race, and then he's been out front, empty roads on his own, just doing his own thing pretty much all the way through. He's not had like a Hickman situation where he's been able to catch on to people and then try and get past them as quickly as can. He's had people trying to grab a toe off him as he's gone past as Hickman as well. But it's been a solo race for Dean Harrison.
It has indeed. Peter Hickman, 37.6 seconds up. through the bungalow. So Hickman now then has just got a couple of sectors to go. He's got to go through Cronk, Namona, and then he'll be heading home here across the line to rapturous applause. If he could just keep this going now. Michael Dunlop goes through the bungalow as we speak. He's in third place. The gap again, by the way, in this battle for fourth, fifth and sixth. Hutchie might just hold on to fourth on the Milwaukee BMW. He's 5.8 seconds clear of McGuinness. Jamie Coward again has taken another couple of seconds out of McGuinness, though. In sixth place, he's 6.3 seconds down on the number one through Ramsey Hairpin.
Yes, still worth watching, absolutely. There is only the climb of the mountain to come, about 12 miles, 12 and a half miles from Ramsey back to here. And, well, he'd have to take half a second a mile to be able to get to McGuinness, which would be a tall order, but you never know what will happen at the end of 6 laps of racing around the TT course.
Well, we might not have seen any lap records here today, but Peter Hickman has been riding well within himself, and it's still plenty good enough to be able to pick up victory. He's been showboating on the mountain. He's celebrating already. Those of you with him in your view as he comes up towards Cronknamona, give him a proper roar, because the first Superbike TT race is going to be done shortly. We've been waiting such a long time to get things going. We have to say huge thanks to everyone involved in getting this race back on again. We've got plenty more action to come as well. There must have been so much noise as Peter Hickman made his way through Craig.
Dean Harrison is through Cronknamona, so he's on the final run down to Signpost, Bedstead, down into the Nook and around Governor's Bridge before he arrives on Glencrutchy Road. Meantime, we can see Peter Hickman on the run down towards Hilbury at the moment from the Craig.
So the moment is drawing closer. Just quickly, Jenny, that feeling going down into the Craig, because it's packed there. You must be able to see all the arms and legs waving around.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you're nearly at the end of the lap and you can see all the spectators waving, and it's a great corner. It's a great place to ride.
Here, we're just waiting now for Dean Harrison. He'll be coming any second to take the checkered flag. The Dow Racing Kawasaki rider, not quite yet. The blue, green and machine with the number 2 on it. He'll take the checkered flag in what is going to be the runners-up medal here today for the RST Superbike race. Here he comes now. The checkered flag is out. Dean Harrison then takes the line, and now it's just a countdown for Peter Hickman. What was the total time there for Dino?
Dean Harrison's total race time, 1 hour, 44 minutes, 37.744. His best lap was 132.787, and now we wait for Peter Hickman.
Ladies and gentlemen, be upstanding, because we're waiting now for Peter Hickman. He's into Governor's Dip on the Gas Monkey Garage by FHO Racing BMW, and he's on to Glencrutchery Road. The winner of the RST Superbike race 2022 is Peter Hickman, number 10, as he comes across the line. The TT is back. Peter Hickman is back. What a ride. He wins it by 39.2 seconds.
With a best of 133.461 on lap 2.
Here comes Michael Dunlop now, number 6. He's back on the podium on the big bike. Number 6 then on the Hawk Suzuki. Fantastic job from Michael Dunlop. 18.4 seconds behind Dean Harrison in the end. And of course now we wait for John McGuinness, his 100th TT start. He'll be coming across the line. Give him a big round of applause when he comes in. But for now, we'll go down to Kinnes.
Excellent stuff there by John McGuinness, and Dean Harrison is in. 39.199 was the gap at the end for Dean. Well, his final lap time 132.79, but your race winner will be coming up. I'm sure he's going to be entertaining the crowds at the Nobles Park fan zone, and of course a little bit later on in the fan part. But here he comes. Wonder what's going to happen now. This could make it clean. Peter Hickman is the RST Superbike race winner, 39.199. Michael Dunlop 18.4 back in that third position. And we'll quickly grab the thoughts. The two team bosses get in. Yeah, John McGuinness across the line. A stand up for John McGuinness because he goes across the line. John McGuinness is going to be taking that 4th place. Can just hear him in the background. John McGuinness will be coming on Glencrutchy Road. He'll be able to speak to him hopefully a bit later on. Here's John McGuinness. Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. John McGuinness confirmed in that 4th position, but the man who's confirmed in that 3rd place, Michael Dunlop, comes up and gives him a big hug and a fei-ho from the from the team. But Dean Harrison, first of all, a second place, but well, he led from start to finish. Congratulations on second, Dino.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, fair play to Pete. He had it today. But no, I've struggled a lot, but I've struggled a little bit all week with a few things. But no, it was a tough race, that, do you know what I mean? Physical wise. Do you know what I mean? It's been such a tough week and everybody. And, I think Michael were closing me sort of down at the end, and I had to sort of really push on the last lap. And it was sort of, I was like, making sure I had a bit left in the tank.
What about the Superbike, though? We're happy with the set, ready for, obviously, the Senior Friday?
Yeah, no, the bike's good, to be fair. Yeah, no, the bike never missed a beat the whole race. Never missed a gear, anything. The Dow racing bike's been faultless all week, the Superbike. We've spun quite a lot of laps on it. So, no, I can't complain at all.
Connor Cummins and Davey Todd are pushing really does. They both went out early. Connor was up the second at one point. So there's 4 or 5 years going in at one point.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't sure who were where. It wasn't until I came into the pits that says Michael up behind me, because I thought it was Connor to start with. And I would I got off to a steady start, to be honest. I didn't really go. I thought I'll go to a set pace and then see where everybody is and then sort of work it from there, really.
What can you do to catch him on Friday?
I'll get a plane, I think. But no, fair play, Pete. He's absolutely flying at the minute. Everywhere he goes, he's on form. So can't complain. But no, massive thanks to all the crowd as well. All the crowd are waving all there, and all the marshals. So thank you very much.
Well done to you. I'm going to speak to Johnny, your team boss, as well. Johnny was on the fuel in the pits there. And Johnny Bagnall, pretty good pit stops, 58.8 and 54.6. That's pretty handy.
Yeah, the first one wasn't too smooth, but we just had a bit of a chat again. You know, it's like the pressure in there. So, yeah, pretty happy with the pit stops. And it also helped him in Sector 1 after the second pit stop, just to eke that bit out on Michael and give him the information he needed to sort of do what he did.
Where's he got boards around the track?
Do you know what? I don't know. He sorts that out himself. I'm sure he's got one at Ramsey. But, yeah, that's his thing. He knows where he wants them. He's where he's had them since the dawn of time. So, yeah, I'll just leave that down to him.
All right, Johnny, thanks for your time and good fueling.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there we go, the top three. John McGuinness is over the line, but he's been beaten into fourth place by Ian Hutchinson. Number 4, Ian Hutchinson has got himself fourth position. Fifth place for John McGuinness, number 1. Sixth place for number 12, Jamie Cowd at the moment. Seventh and number 5, James Hillier. Eighth place for number 3, Michael Rutter. Michael Rutter across the line. Yeah, we'll just grab a word with Michael if we can. Then Michael Dunlop across here. First time in the podium area here in the big bike for a wee while. Michael, nice to see you, and that looked hard work out there. Nice to see you.
Hi, that was hard work, I must say. It was it's a funny old race. Quite an embarrassing race for me, if I'm honest with you, that we just hadn't got anything to come to the table with. We tried different things all week, and we've just been on the back foot, but today the bike held together lovely. We're just lacking that wee small bit, whatever it is, and yeah, it was hard graft.
You got 4 seconds back through the good second pit stop.
Yeah, no, everyone seemed grand. It's just by that stage, got and talked maybe, but just first couple of laps, we changed a massive change from this morning. We had to do the warm-up lap this morning on my big bike just because we were struggling with it, and it didn't work, and we just completely went something else. Steve pulled something out of the bag, and it's definitely helped it. We just need to improve on it, but it was good now, and thanks to Ella, I've been struggling a wee bit all week with a few issues, and she's been trying to keep on top of them, so things have been good.
Stuck behind Higgy for a bit.
Aye, Peter, listen, he deserved it. He was riding fantastic. I stayed with him for I let give him the space a wee bit and just sat there because I didn't want to, he passed me, it was his race, and it was nothing to do with me, so I just stayed out of the way.
It's a good battle between you, John McGuinness, and Hutchie and Rutter at one point too.
Aye, it's a lot of boys in the road, and I said, the time I made a move, and just where the position was on the bike, I just couldn't dive. I just couldn't dip in where I wanted to, and I just got caught for too long, and it just held me too much. But it was a good race. It's hot out there, and it's good to get 6 laps under the belt. Obviously, we've all week it's been hard for laps, even though we've had good week. It's just been different scenarios, and I said that was probably our first consistent run. We were just doing that, and probably myself, there's areas I need to sharpen myself up a bit, so I need to pull my finger out a bit.
Thank you, Michael, for your time.
Cheers.
Thank you, Michael Dunlop there. And let's go now finally to our race winner on the FHO racing machine, and the team boss is here as well. Pete, never mind them, live on radio, get the big picture, and I'll just step aside for a second. There you go. The winner of the RST Superbike race over 5 laps, winning in the end by 39.199 seconds, is of course number 10. I love it on the back. I'm not going to mention what the badge is on the back of your helmet. We'll get into trouble, Pete. Fantastic, Peter Hickman. You made. I'm not going to say it looked easy, but you led from the get-go.
Yeah, planning the race a little bit different to how I normally do. went fast early, which is not like me, to be honest. But I've been feeling really good on the bike. So yeah, if everything feels good, you can just crack on, can't you? So that's what I did, and managed to pull a bit of a gap early-ish. So once that kind of bit's done, you can kind of manage. So that's exactly what I did, managing the race, managing myself, managing the bike. The M1000RR Gas Monkey BMW by FHO Racing worked absolutely faultlessly the whole way through. Yeah, awesome, absolutely awesome. So really, really happy. I think the first lap time was pretty good as well, under 17 minutes on from a standing start. So yeah, happy.
All that traffic you caught up at one point, what did you think to yourself? I've got to get past these, because Michael just said that I have to get past it.
Yeah, I wasn't so bad. I mean, again, I got a bit of a gap, so I didn't have to rush through. I didn't have to take any risks that I didn't need to. So I actually sat behind a few people like Michael Rutter. I sat behind for probably a couple of miles at least, just kind of sussing out where's the best place to overtake. It's nice when you've got that buffer. It's when you've not got that buffer that it makes it really horrible. So for me, it was all right. It was good.
RST Superbike race winner and a new race record as well.
Oh, was it? Nice. I'll do. I didn't know that.
How does that feel to win another TT?
Oh, awesome! Especially after this long break that we've all had. Yeah, to be here and to win the first race, start the week as we mean to go on.
I think you've been pulling some big wheelies last lap. Keep the fans happy too.
Yeah, a bit of crowd pleasing. You know, that's what it's all about. And again, got that big buffer. So I tried not to celebrate too early, because you never know what could happen. But yeah, I was just making people, just giving them a good time. I was having a good time. I had a big smile on my face the whole time I was doing all that.
39-second win in the end.
Yeah, mega. Yeah, mad really, isn't it? But just mega thanks to the team, all my sponsors and supporters, all the fans out there waving all the programs and clapping and shouting. I see you all. I can't hear you, but I can see you all. And honestly, it spurs you on so much. And just massive thanks to everyone.
Well done.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks, Peter. Well done. Excellent stuff. Maybe grab a quick word with the Faye if we can. And their team owner, Faye, just a very quick word. We're going to go for the podium in it. How was that?
That was incredible. I mean, oh my God, it's just, I mean, I'm over the moon. It's my first TT win, and I'm really happy.
You're the first of many, Faye. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
There you go. There's your first three in the RST Superbike race. Steve and Chris, that was not a bad start to the week, eh? Back to you, boys.
No, not at all. Thanks very much, Chris Kinley. Peter Hickman then wins his 6th Isle of Man TT race. And I know you got a couple of stats here for us, Boydie.
Yeah, Hickman retains his Superbike title. He won the 2019 Superbike TT as well. So it's his 6th win in total. For Dean Harrison, it's his 17th podium. And for Michael Dunlop, it's his 30th podium at the TT. The previous race record stood to Michael Dunlop in 2018, 1 hour 44 minutes 13.3. That has been lowered by some 15 seconds to 1 hour 43 minutes 58.564 for Peter Hickman on the Gas Monkey machine. So Hickman, a race record and a win as well. But we were tracking that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. It ended up Ian Hutchinson 10.7 seconds ahead of John McGuinness. So Ian Hutchinson took 4th behind Dunlop, John McGuinness 5th. Jamie Coward then closed to within 0.4 of a second of John McGuinness. Not quite enough to overhaul him, but a superb ride for Jamie Coward, who finishes 6th. James Hillier then in 7th. Glenn Irwin 8th. But we'll have a look at his lap time, Steve.
Yes, a 129.8 is a new fastest lap for a newcomer and a newcomer record in total time for the Superbike race. And Beth has got a word with him right now.
Glenn Irwin, fastest ever. Sorry, I know it's all very exciting here, but a fastest ever newcomer, Glenn Irwin. That's quite some achievement.
Sounds good, but not as good as 5-time TT winner Brian Reid that was just chatting to. So, yeah, no, that's a big, massive thanks to the entire team. And Honda for giving me this opportunity. We started talking at the end of 2019 about, doing a roads program with them, and I only really done the Northwest. So to take this on is obviously a huge task, and especially with having like the young kids and that. So they've helped me do it right, and just took on just really good advice from everyone. So yeah, the race was weird because I've never raced for that long, so bits of my body were starting to cramp. And after the second pit stop, I wasn't interested in trying to catch 7th because I seen there was like 15 seconds, and I didn't try to. But then on the last lap, it was nice and smooth, and thought, well, I don't know if I broke the newcomer record, and we haven't been targeting it, but I felt like I could string a nice lap together, so that's what we done. And again, that's just a real cherry on top. So early in the week.
129.85. So yeah, what a start.
Should have held the throttle on a bit more and done 130. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, like I say, just massive thanks also to the supporters and all the way around the track. I wish I could have waved at them in the last lap. Position wise I could have, but I had a little job to do in that last lap. So sorry if I didn't wave back, but it was worth it in the end.
Huge congratulations. Thanks for talking to us, Glenn.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed to Glenn Irwin. Outstanding job there, Jenny, that Glenn's done.
Yeah, clearly he wants more though, doesn't he?
Well, don't all of you riders want more?
Yeah, definitely.
Good job then from Glenn Irwin. He finishes 6.8 seconds behind James Hillier. Sean Anderson finishes in 9th. Great job from Sean, number 19, ahead of Dominique Herbertson, who finishes in 10th. Michael Rutter in 11th. We've still obviously got some machines crossing the line as we speak. Michael Rutter crossed the line in 11th. Nathan Harrison on his debut TT, number 28, who lives in Onken, just a few minutes down the road. Brilliant stuff from him as well. At 12th position for Nathan Harrison, ahead of Rob Hodson. He was 15 seconds clear of Rob Hodson. Craig Neve crossed the line in 14th, with Mark Goodings in 15th. And as it stands at the moment, Michael Evans is in 16th with Brandon Cretu in 17th. But of course, that could change because we're still getting riders coming across the line.
Yeah, such has been the pace at the front of this race that we've been waiting just for more and more riders to come through. Brendan Cretu now shows us 17th behind Mikey Evans in 16th, Mark Goodings in 15th, and that's the 17 that we have in so far. Still plenty more riders out there on their final lap.
The 6th fastest lap was set by Jamie Coward. He's finally got his hands on a 130.398 lap, and now we can go down and hear from him.
Jamie Coward, first ever 130 plus lap. How does that feel?
I won't move to be fair. It's actually my second, but my fastest ever lap round the TT course. So I made up with that, I were on my own, just doing my own thing, and I wasn't really trying too hard either. Just I was bringing it home to be fair. So I was in P6 fairly early on that 5, and I had a bit of a gap. So I just wanted to get her home and just get a result for the team. They've worked the socks off these last few days or last practice week to get the bike as it is. They're working at late nights and scratching each other's heads, and just it's been like I said, if it's not for them I won't be in the position I am today, so I'm well chuffed.
I know conditions out there are pretty good, crowd's pretty good, but it's a really physically demanding race. How are you feeling like that way?
Jiggered, to be fair, absolutely jiggered. It's the first time, obviously we're used to coming back after year and doing 6 laps, so it's your body gets immune to it, but that were that far off thinking I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this, but I think a bit of adrenaline must have took over and helped me on the last few laps. So yeah, like I said, I'm just made up for the team, and P6 in this first Superbike race at TT, that'll do me.
Wonderful. Thanks for talking to us, Jamie.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you very much to Jamie Card. Thanks to Beth Espy there as well. A couple more riders to just come across the line and have improved. Matt Stevenson, 15th. What a great week he's had, Boydie.
Yeah, that's really impressive stuff. 15th in a Superbike TT for Matt Stevenson. He knocks Mark Goodings down to 16th. David Jackson has finished his race as well. He's showing in 17th at the moment. Then Mikey Evans drops down to 18th. Brendan Cretu in 19th. Josh Daly showing as 20th. And Forrest Dunn 21st. But we're still getting more and more riders finishing this race.
And just to give us an idea, Jenny, of the feelings that you get once you get to the end of a 6-lap race.
It's just euphoria. You're so happy that you've managed to do the 6 laps, and it's just great to finish. It's great to see the crowd cheering you on. They give you a right bolster, make you feel great, and it's just once you come down that return road and give the high fives to all the crowd, it's just such a great feeling.
A couple more riders now just coming over. Milo Ward has just was that Milo just coming over the line, or have I just got that wrong? Not quite sure. Yes, it did. 17th, Milo Ward. Jenny, you gave him Rider of the Day the other day. That is brilliant. He is. When we talk about rookies, we mentioned Glenn Irwin as a rookie, but we know Glenn's pedigree. He's a Northwest Superbike race winner, and he's a British Superbike race winner. But Milo Ward is not. That's proper, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great from him. He's been, plugging away all practice week. He's been getting faster and faster and faster, and he's also enjoying it. Every time he gets off the bike, he's so happy. He's absolutely loving riding here, and it's showing. And his speed is so unbelievably fast, and yeah, he'll be over the moon with that result.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go and see the TC Racing awning and go and have a chat with Milo Ward. You won't be disappointed, I think it's fair to say.
No, he'll just be he's such a happy character, and he's just buzzing, and he just lifts you up, himself, because he's having such a great time. And yeah, if you can find him, go and have a chat with him. For
He's just registered, just for record as well, his fastest lap of the week, 122.687. So cracking stuff from Milo Ward. Wow. We've got the first race underway. A quick reminder that we do go sidecar racing soon as well, so hang around for that. We've got sidecars scheduled for 3 o'clock later. The TV pictures and images are just looking at Michael Dunlop. You kind of got the feeling from Michael's words there that they can probably try and make some steps forward, but I'm not sure anyone really knows if they've got anything for Peter Hickman at the moment.
No, Peter's in a world of his own, isn't he? He's just out there making it look easy. Everybody's going to be playing catch up for the rest of the week, and I'm sure they'll be doing some little tweaks to their bikes to try and close that gap.
Let's hand down to Beth.
Well, I am just walking towards John McGuinness now, who is having a conversation at the moment, but I wonder whether I'll just be able to just creep in here. They might not notice that I'm here. John, just very quickly, great result for you today.
Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, pleased. It's a long race, long tough race. And that warm-up lap, I don't think helped really. I was flagging a bit towards the end, but I just thought the atmosphere and the crowd and the way the track is and the weather, and I think it was just amazing. I've never seen so many people around it.
Talk us through your highs and lows then.
I don't know, just that the atmosphere on the mate, it's just Glenn just behind me there. The atmosphere on the start line was a super high, super nervous at the time, but the gold bike, the special livery, the number one on the bike was really awesome. Off I went, probably a little bit of a weak start, and it got better and better. A couple of good pit stops, and the last lap was special. Special in a weird way, because normally, I've been in that position where I've been coming down the mountain when I've got one hand on the trophy, but this one was just to finish my 100th start. It's been an unbelievable journey. Like I say, every single start I've done, there was a picture of it on the bike going around with me. I started getting a little bit emotional, and I just wanted to sort of get off and meet all the fans and have a word with them, but you got to keep all of the handlebars. But the support out there for me was absolutely unbelievable. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed the race, and Hickey and the new generation are just a bit stronger than me now, and probably had my turn, but I still enjoyed riding the bike, and that's the main thing. And the team are happy, and yeah, one race ticked off.
What's your plan for the rest of the weekend then?
We've got a chat show tonight if anybody fancies going. We'll tell stories about all my races, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't been out of the paddock for a week. It's been pretty full on, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, practice Saturday race today. It's like we've been whipped all week, so it'd be nice just to get an ice cream on somewhere on the beach somewhere where it's a bit quiet and switch off for an hour or two. And then it's back to it on Monday.
Wonderful. Thanks for talking to us, and well done. 5th position, well deserved.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
100th TT start for John McGuinness. Thanks to Beth there. Let's get down to Kinners now, ready for the podium.
Yes, and Peter Hickman's going to be getting his hands on the old Formula One trophy. It's now the Superbike trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please put your hands together? The president of RST, Rob Swimbank. Thank you, Rob. Like to head up onto the podium, please. Gets a really good round of applause from our spectators here, and I can't believe the amount of people up on the pit return road. Never seen so many. Ladies and gentlemen, in 3rd place, Michael Dunlop. Nice to see Michael back up on that Superbike podium once again. Not the position I'm sure he wanted to be, but I'm sure he will probably change that as they go through to Friday. There goes Michael up onto the podium, and he'll be getting the awards and, of course, the Forage and Vintners champagne. He gets the garland over his neck and shakes Rob's hand. In 2nd place, 39.199 seconds back of your race winner, Dean Harrison on the Dow Kawasaki. Dean makes his way up the new podium steps. Not the old circular ones that used to be there for many, many moons ago. And then Peter Hickman shared a few good words here before Dean gets onto that 2nd position. And your race winner with a new race time, winning the RST Superbike TT, Peter Hickman. Gives Michael Dunlop a handshake, and also gives Rob from RST a big handshake as well. He gets the hats on. Of course, the Dunlop hat, and then another hat on top. That's 3 hats he's got on his head. And he raises the RST Superbike TT trophy. And ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the British National Anthem. What a fantastic RST Superbike TT. Third place for Michael Dunlop. Second for Dean Harrison, and the winner of the RST Superbike Trophy, Peter Hickman. Back to you, Steve and Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much. What a great job done then from Peter Hickman. That is his 6th TT win and his 15th podium as well. Huge congratulations to Dean Harrison as well. Dow Racing Kawasaki. That's podium number 17 for him. And here comes the champagne spray right now as Michael Dunlop is about to get his 30th podium underway. Here we go, champagne time. The Gas Monkey Garage team getting a soaking. Brilliant stuff. We're finally underway in